very special encounter at the Bon Open between Jeffrey Blancano against Damir the Demon Jumur. He's very much demonized thus far, showing a bit of frustration after losing the first set. Anyway, the Frenchman to serve, 15-30. Bit of pressure on that Frenchman's shoulders, like a couple of baguettes weighing over him. Needs to take some time. No hurry, he says, at 15-30. He's up a set, 2-all here. What are you gonna do? You're gonna go there down the middle, and that is a shank. One that even Stefanos Tsitsipas would be proud of. Get that towel, mop your brow. Return to the baseline where you'll know it's 30-all. Screeches from the other courts. But they don't put this young Frenchman off. Look at him. Prowling, brushing, questioning. Maybe they do put him off. He needs to be focused. It's 30-all, 2-all, tense times here at the Bon Open. Goes out wide with that, comes into the net, does the volley. Does he put it away? No, he doesn't. But he puts that one away, and his opponent, the demon, Damir Jumur, just cannot believe what has happened to him. I'll tell you what's happened. You've been flummoxed, and you've lost the point. We would take another look at it if we had a replay, but we don't. But who knows? You don't even need a replay. It's in our heads. Okay. The Frenchman to serve. I say you're going out wide. You don't. You go down the tee. Clip the net, though. So he's going to get another shot at it. Is he going to take my advice and go out wide on this one? Did so successfully on that last time for a serve and volley, even though he messed up the volley. Goes down the tee again. Does come into the net. Does a little drop shot, and you know what? Jumur is like, I can't even be bothered to run that down. And he's going to clean that line. Look at this. He's cleaning the line because he's so annoyed with some funny bounces.
Ready? Play.
Okay, so Joe, not a very bad start for your first grass court match. How do you feel on the grass?
Well, feeling good. I arrived on Thursday, so I had a bit of practice in here, and the type that I play, a bit more aggressively, it goes good. I go aggressively, and the game on grass is very quick. The points are very quick, so I like playing in grass. It's my third time, but first on pro. Yeah. So feeling so good, and winning with ex-top 20 guy Kyle. Well, it means a lot for the first round. And,
yeah, he's obviously a very good player on grass as well. How does this give you confidence going into the summer?
For sure, yes. It was a good match, and I'm practicing a lot of my serve. So today was a good opportunity to close the doors my serve. So yeah, it gives me more confidence to go through this week.
And where are you thinking of playing this summer? Are you going to stay in Europe, in Germany, on the grass, or?
I'll play here, Nottingham and New Clay, and then if I go into Wimbledon, I'll play Wimbledon. And let's see.
Have you thought about playing Wimbledon? Is that something that you used to watch on TV, or?
It's my favorite Grand Slam, my favorite tournament.
name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans and I'm a friend of the show.
My name is Zainab Sammaz and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Good afternoon, Fergus. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yes, a little bit delayed as I have to reboot one of my computers so I can get the stream up. But I can see that Hurkacz has already held a game I did not see. Did I miss anything?
No, not really. Just standard QB serving and some good returns from Carlos, but then a couple errors following the returns. So not much to report on the first game. He didn't miss much.
Are you expecting a competitive match? Because I heard James and Zach earlier suggesting a Carlos Alcaraz title-winning charge in Rotterdam, and I don't have that same confidence. I think De Minaur against Alcaraz is a very different proposition to Sinner against De Minaur, for example. If this was Yannick Sinner in Rotterdam, I would be looking elsewhere for competitive tennis. But I don't know. I don't have such confidence in Carlos.
I actually have De Minaur as my winner of Rotterdam.
You had that before the tournament, or you've
made
that all day?
No. Since I'd say his quarterfinal match, I think he's been playing the best this week, and I think that he's gonna take this one no matter who he plays, whether it's Hubie or Carlos. So, Hubie with the lob, and Alcaraz doesn't chase that down, so it's love 30.
Yeah, I see it as being three players that I think all have a very good chance of taking the title. I think going into the semis, Bellucci was always the outsider. But from the other three, I believe that the court speeds this year are a little bit slower, especially for an indoor situation. So that will, of course, suit Carlos. He's been getting better as the tournament has gone on. But Carlos has yet to win a title, I believe, indoors. At least someone in the live chat maybe can tell me otherwise. But I don't think he has one indoors yet.
No, I don't believe so.
Of course, his career is very much in its early stages, and he doesn't often play this swing. He's normally tearing up the clay or trying to tear up the clay in Latin America.
Love 43 break points for Hurkacz immediately.
Indeed. So, yeah, normally he's currently sort of preparing for the Argentina Open, as so many players are, such as Zverev and Rune this year, along, of course, with the outgoing Diego Schwartzman, who's going to be hanging up his racket.
He is going to be hanging up his racket. He played in a challenger this week. He went out first round.
In Rosario, yeah.
Yeah, and Hubie breaks 3 errors from Carlos, and that's a very swift start for Hurkacz. And that's what can happen with Carlos. It can be that just he puts together a bad game with a string of errors, and it just ends up that he just gets broken. And it seems like his opponent, in this case Hurkacz, didn't have to do much to earn that break, which is concerning for Carlos.
Yeah, I wish I could see it. I keep trying to log in to my account, and it keeps saying it's not possible right now. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep you on your toes and tell me what's going on. So, yeah, Hurkacz is broken.
Yeah, Alcaraz then produced a massive backhand. So, yeah, This way looks like a yeah, Alcaraz love 15 now after a big. Well, this is ahead of my stream, so it seems that I'm ahead of it, and then it's ahead of me, and then I'm ahead of it. So, an ace from Hubie, first of the match.
I'm still here. I'm just fixing some coffee.
That's okay. Don't worry. What time is? Where are you?
Germany.
Germany. And it's back-to-back aces for Hubie. 30-15.
So
if it's Hubie versus if Hubie comes through this match, I think it will be Demonor in straights tomorrow.
Okay.
But if Alcaraz wins this match, I think it'll be Demonor in 3. Because
So you think if you were backing Demonor as you are, you
Yes.
think Alcaraz will pose the bigger threat to that potential outcome?
Yes, mainly because I think Hubie's biggest weapon is obviously his serve, and Demonor's biggest weapon is his return, in a sense. If you understand where I'm coming from. Game point for Hubie. These service games are really rattling themselves off quick points. Not many extended rallies so far. And if they are extended rallies, it's Hurkacz that's coming out on top at the moment.
Yeah.
Which
that's
isn't
unusual.
like
I would
Carlos.
expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would expect the extended rallies normally the way of Carlos. Of course, it is still very early doors.
And a hold for Hurkacz. That's 3 love in maybe 5 minutes. That was lightning fast. 8 minutes in, and it's 3 love. Already halfway through this first set in games.
If it's a 6 love set.
Fast. Well,
Okay.
yeah, if it's a 6 love set. I mean, if it's 6 love, then when was the last time Carlos was bageled? So.
Yeah, quite some time. Have you heard the news that Eurosport is ending for good on the 28th of February? I didn't know that. No.
Yes,
But I mean, I'm not quite sure.
I did.
Go on, tell me more, Fergus. What do you know?
TNT Sports are almost combining with Eurosport, so now you have to pay £4 extra for Roland Garros and the AO in a sense. It's a bit strange. I think Eurosport and TNT they've been in partnered for I think 3 years now, and Eurosport have just now called it, and now TNT are just charging even more money for tennis, which is really unfortunate, but it's okay.
Does anyone know how long the contract is that Sky have with the tennis at the moment for the other sort of tournaments throughout the year? My feeling is it's a 3-year deal, and now obviously a year in right now.
Hold on.
I'm just curious. I've just been thinking about things. I mean, we are seeing a sort of slightly altering landscape, but it's always altering. But we are seeing a slightly altering landscape in the last 10 years in terms of people such as ourselves entering the fray, albeit, of course, we don't have the rights to share it. But unbelievably, sometimes those that have the rights are getting sort of less views than the ones, that do, if you like.
It's a 5-year deal.
Oh, okay, 5 years. Okay.
Good, so 2029.
Yeah.
But I don't see that it will then call it. I think it will probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to tell what will happen in the next 4 years, and I don't really know the ins and outs of how well that deal is panning out. But I certainly know that my deal with Sky that I pay for in Germany is a very good one. Let's say that.
Well, yeah, I don't think everyone agrees with that in
the
UK. But
I know what you mean, but I pay £9 a month.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's so good.
I get 1 Grand Slam, and I get every ATP and WTA main tour match. Every single one.
That is true.
And I get every Premier League match as well. Every single one. 3 o'clock kickoffs, 5 o'clock kickoffs,
Really?
9 kickoffs.
Oh,
for
in Germany, yeah, it's like that, isn't it?
£9 a month.
Very.
Yeah.
very, very lucky. Very, very lucky. It's just not that simple here, unfortunately.
No, I know. I also got in on a good time. They did a deal in November 2020 that I signed up for, and I've been on it ever since. And I don't wish to budge on that deal, and that, I believe, will always be the case until I cancel. And what's going on with Hurkacz and Carlos, by the way?
Hurkacz has just produced an outrageous lob and then a ridiculous volley. And it's 15-30. Well, you said no bagel. Well, I mean, obviously it's still a way to go, but Hubie playing lights out at the moment. Carlos not putting as much on that serve, and Hubie goes long. 30-all.
Were you questioning my wisdom over what time to have coffee, by the way?
I mean, it's not. You are, I think, you an hour behind?
An hour ahead, yeah. An hour ahead. So, yeah.
I mean, that's 8 o'clock for you. I mean, I don't suppose you're staying up to watch anything in Dallas, are you?
No, I won't be, no. But I do. I just fancied a coffee, and it's just sat there looking at me, teasing and winking, and
yeah.
And so yeah,
I'm sure I have no doubts that it isn't. Shit return from Hubie.
Did you just say a shit return?
No, I said chip return.
Oh.
Sorry. Not shit return. And it's a huge forehand from Hubie, great angle, and it's another break point. Not shit return.
There is a comment I want to respond to. Oh, about Bundesliga games. Yeah, Matthew, but I also get some Bundesliga games. Generally, they'll have the Dortmund against Bayern match, which is obviously the big one every year, and a few others. But I don't get as many as I do Premier League. Basically, I got every single Premier League one, but not FA Cup or Champions League.
Break point. Hurkacz, second serve. Oh, it's a huge winner from Alcaraz.
Just in the nick of time.
Absolutely.
You will get some left field questions from Nolan, I'm sure, as you can already see in the chat.
Yeah,
Just feel free to either ignore or address, whichever you want. By the way, Garnacho's off the bench performance yesterday, Nolan. I do want to hear your thoughts on that.
Garnacho was excellent yesterday.
Yeah. Does play hot and cold, of course. A little bit like Alcaraz, perhaps indoors.
Yeah. There you go. Game point, Alcaraz.
Casper Ruud or Tommy Paul? Who's the more likely to win in Dallas, would you say?
I'd say Paul, plainly because I just don't think Ruud is consistent enough. I mean, you could talk about consistency with Paul as well, but I think in his home country, he's defending his title.
He won the tournament in Dallas last year as well.
Exactly. And that's a hold for Alcaraz, a much needed one, as he was facing a point for 4-love. Yeah. I think Paul's just been... It was strange. He played a strange match against Quinn the other day where he just completely lost it mentally, and he lost the set, but then regrouped well. But I don't know. Ruud's a strange one for me at the moment. I'm almost a bit baffled at how he's 5 in the world after some of the performances he puts out, but he's just consistent enough on the clay that he keeps his ranking where it needs to be.
Yeah, he's talked about upping his game a bit and playing a bit more aggressively, although he's been talking about that for a year. I really like him, and I enjoy watching him play a lot more now than I used to. But I would err towards Tommy Paul for that title. And the reason I bring it up with those two players in particular, of course, there's still four included left, including Jaime Munar. Nurlan, there's a very famous quote from Larry David, and I'm going to find it for you. And yeah, I'm going to bring that up on the screen, which I think should address your question.
Hubie's fourth ace of
There
the
you go.
match. Ha!
So there you go, Nolan. That's my consideration. Although I have got some on my head right now, but it was just a quick way because that was the first thing I could grab that didn't have any sort of affiliations with a tennis player on it that could keep the hair out of my away from my eyebrows. Trying to stay neutral on here without putting my Rafa hat on. I can put it on a bit more frequently than I used to be able to. But are you expecting Alcaraz to win ultimately today, by the way?
Yes, I am expecting him to win. Whether he actually does win is a different question. Hubie holds comfortably, in a sense. 4-1. Yes and no. I mean, this is a match that I still expect Alcaraz to win. Hubie now 21 in the world.
Oh, wow, he's dropped down a bit. I mean, obviously he's had quite a few injury issues sort of since Wimbledon and not played as consistently as he would have liked. But having said that, post Wimbledon, I think the biggest thing he missed was the Olympics. But I do think that he sort of did he miss the Olympics or did he play the Olympics actually?
No, I think he played the Olympics.
Let's check. Yeah, he might well have done. I know it was in Big Gal, and he obviously didn't make any inroads there. No, he did withdraw. He did withdraw.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think his main issue is his him not defending any points from Shanghai after winning it. No.
He got to the final and beat Rublev, I think, last year. Yes.
Yeah. Or the year before, in a sense. Yeah, I was just double checking.
I think it was the third tiebreak.
He didn't there because he pulled out of Tokyo. Well, he played a match in Tokyo against Draper and went out 6-4, 6-4, and he really looked like he wasn't fully up to it. And then he called it for the rest of the season. Oh no, he didn't. He then played in Paris where he lost first round 6-1, 6-3 to Mickelson. Really didn't look up and at it as usual. So it was strange. I think he's just lost a lot of points, and then he didn't have a great AO defending a quarterfinal run last year or the year before, in a sense. So I think he went out second or third round, so lost a few points there, and I think he's just slowly been leaking points. But this will be a good week. Good week for everyone. Good week for everyone. Good week for Hubie.
Yeah, for sure.
It's okay. Everyone prefers Damien Nerlan. That's okay. Oh, he's so good. It's a great point.
For Hurkacz.
For Hurkacz, yeah. Great volley. Fantastic volley to send it over Carlos. And then Carlos with the tweener, and it's such a depth volley for from Hubie. It's fantastic. Hurkacz looking for, I mean, total points 1, Hurkacz 21, Alcaraz 9.
Good stat. As Hurkacz again is threatening the Alcaraz serve.
Oh my God, it's love 40. I think it
Alcaraz,
was. I think
this is the third game in a row for Alcaraz on serve where he's had to save break points. He's managed to get one of those games.
Yeah. Even if Alcaraz landed that forehand on the line, Hubie then produced an absolutely huge forehand, but I think it was just wide anyway. Yeah, 3 break points. This set has really got away from Carlos after he might have been thinking about a route back into it at love 15 3-1. But now, I mean, it looks a completely different proposition now at 15-40 1-4. Yeah, Carlos almost does need to wake up a bit, and says Super Dave. Second serve for Hurkacz to look at. And he's been really good attacking this second serve, especially on the backhand side. And my phone has just died, even though it was on charge. That's really helpful, so I can no longer
Don't worry.
see.
I'm still having streaming issues too, trying to log in. Every time I log in, it says you need to try again.
Oh no, no, my phone just decided to crash on me, and that's really strange. Hold on.
No, Nerlan, I wouldn't, especially away from hard courts. Plus, in terms of his health, I still think we can question him occasionally over 5 sets. He just rarely gets pushed to 5 these days.
Would you ever bet your house on Sinner winning every single tournament? No, I would not bet my house. Plainly because at some point...
I still think Alcaraz is more likely to do a calendar slam than Sinner. Because Alcaraz's big issue is obviously getting Australia under his belt.
Yes, I agree. I think...
Alcaraz winning in Australia. Alcaraz wins in Australia, and suddenly we're thinking, well, yeah, as we do every year when, you know, if once Novak wins Roland Garros, or perhaps Rafa wins in Australia, you know, Roger winning Roland Garros the same year he wins in Australia, which I don't think he did because it was in 2009. But if he ever did that, then you're sort of going, well. And for Carlos, it's Australia. You go, well, you know, he's won Roland Garros last year. He's won Wimbledon back-to-back. He'll probably be favourite going into those 2 tournaments. It's still such a tall order. This is not me predicting that every second year we're going to have calendar slams, but he's the one. Whereas probably Yannick needs to win the next 2 before we start going, well.
Huge hold from Alcaraz there. 40 down.
How many losses will Sinner take this year? I would say it'll be in single digits. That's not exactly the biggest call ever, I'm sure. I would guess, I think 5 is kind of the number. Would you go above or under 5? What are we going to do? You're going to go above 5 for the year. That's an 8 or 9. 9. I still think that's a lot. I think even Novak lost 9 last year in what was a pretty bad year for him, but he didn't play as often as I expect Yannick to play. That's still 1 a month pretty much for the season. And he's probably going to get to end of February with 0 losses.
I'm gonna give you where these 9 losses are gonna come from. Okay. He's not gonna win in Doha. He won't win in Indian Wells. He won't win in Monte Carlo, Rome, or Madrid. So that's 5. He won't win Roland Garros, that's 6. He won't win Wimbledon, that's 7. He will play Paris this year and won't win, that's 8. And then there's another 500 in there that I don't think he'll win.
I mean, he's basically winning Miami, and that's about it from what I could understand. Oh, the US Open as well.
He's okay. Halle, US Open, Miami,
Okay.
Shanghai.
But there's a lot of exaggeration in the chat for what I have said. I'm not saying that Sinner cannot win Wimbledon, and suggesting he gets to the final this year is the least crazy take I think I've ever heard from Dave. I think him getting to the final in the French Open makes perfect sense. He was very close to it last year, and who knows, if he'd have got there, he may well have beaten Zverev in the final. I just think that the conversation, this is what we're talking about, the conversation with Carlos begins when if he wins Australia. That's not to say that he would go on and do it, but it's once you get, which is the most difficult slam for Carlos? It's Australia. That's just a fact. Which is the most difficult one for Sinner? Probably Wimbledon, but I think you could throw in the French Open as well. Which one historically was the most difficult one for Rafa? It was Australia. Which was the most difficult one for Novak? It was France, and so on and so forth. I could keep going on with it. But once you've got that one ticked off and you've won, and in Rafa's case, you're a certainty to win Roland Garros and you're in the mix for the other two, then suddenly it becomes a conversation. And Carlos is in the mix at every slam. But
it's so good from Hurkacz. Sorry to cut you off. It's a really high level at the moment between Hurkacz and Alcaraz, and Hurkacz just coming out on top of that. Six. Don't talk about the 6.
It's a joke, Fergus. Don't buy on it. It's a great
Get out of the chat. Get out of the chat if you're going to talk about the 6 King Slam. My question is, what's going to happen first? Sinner winning Roland Garros or Carlos winning in Australia?
Just because it's next, I'll say Sinner winning Roland Garros, but that's because we've got another year. But will they both do it in their careers? Yeah, you'd think so. You'd think so. Who does it first, I don't know. I mean, just because we've just had Australia and we've got the French Open just coming up, I'm going to say Sinner winning the French Open. And, of course, Sinner has come closer. Yeah, I think so, Nerland. What do you think? You think French Open is tougher for Sinner than Nerland? Do let us know in the live chat whether you think Wimbledon or the French Open is the bigger call or bigger ask for him. But, I mean, it's touch and go. But I just think Sinner on clay is, yeah. And I just think that on Wimbledon, he's not been in a final there. He's not been close to a final. You know, he got to a semi, I think, and got lost in, I think, straight sets to Novak in 2023.
I think it was 4.
Was it 4? I wasn't sure if it was 4, yeah. But it didn't feel very competitive.
I agree with Nerland that it's Roland Garros is the hardest because there are two big players that clay is the main surface where I feel like Sinner is beatable by more than 2 players.
Alcaraz, Zverev, Djokovic,
I know, and then you can throw in if you're talking statistically, you could say Tsitsipas if you're talking strictly statistical. But obviously you have to have some help with some dodgy line calls, and
I still think Tsitsipas is due one more big French Open run. He's so good on that surface. He just maybe needs to avoid Carlos somehow.
I just think that clay. I think grass suits his game and will suit his game. Sinner's, and it's coming more likely than the French is, mainly because Carlos is so good on clay, and Zverev is also obviously. If the final last year was Sinner Zverev, I would have backed Zverev to win it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe his first slam, taking away the getting in his own way. But yeah.
Eight or 9 titles, Nerland. That's ridiculous. Come on. Nerland
9
loves these.
Wimbledons.
Yeah, and he loves these big takes. He just does them to provoke. And then when he gets proven wrong, he disappears for a couple of months. He'll join the chat right now and say that Alcaraz is going to come back and wipe the floor with Hurkacz in this match. Then when it doesn't happen, you don't see him for 2 months. And then you remind him of it, and he just changes the subject.
Yeah.
He joined the chat at the beginning of the Cincinnati final, 2023, to say that this is a non-event. Carlos is going to easily win this. Let's all go home. And of course, 3 hours later, Djokovic was winning it in the third set tiebreak. And then we didn't see him until about 2024, I think. He makes big calls. He gets them wrong. And then we never hear from him again. Just he hopes that we forget. But I'm still remembering his calls from 18 months ago.
Great.
By the way, is Carlos making a comeback? Yeah.
Yeah, break point for Carlos after Hubert had a smash at the net and Alcaraz read it and went the right way and passed him easily. Second serve for Alcaraz, and Hubert serves and volleys, and oh my word, what's going on? I don't. Oh, it's such a good point. It's such a good point. Alcaraz breaks. Yeah.
By the way, whenever you say such a good point, I almost always know that Alcaraz ends up winning it.
Yes. Hubie had a volley and it clipped the net and it landed basically at the foot of the net, and Alcaraz had to push it, just tap it over, and then a chip from Alcaraz made Hubie have to tweener it, and Alcaraz finished it off with a smash. Crazy set so far, actually. It's been a very decent level. Definitely a better semi-final than the Bellucci De Minaur final.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't very difficult to better, though, to be fair.
Who is going to stop him, for God's sake, if he dominates Zverev and Medvedev? Hubie coming back down to earth and realizing Darth Alcaraz is stirring.
I mean, the thing is, you don't forget Djokovic is still going to be a threat for at least another year. That doesn't mean he's winning it. You know, I probably would now be towards Djokovic not winning another slam if you had to push me. But does that mean I don't expect him to be competitive at Wimbledon? No. Do I think that he's getting to the semis or beyond? Probably at least this year. Yes. If it's Djokovic versus Sinner in the semifinals at Wimbledon, who knows? So Djokovic is certainly a threat. For now, anyway. Alcaraz, obviously, 2-time winner at Wimbledon, has to be. Who knows where the next, big players are coming from? I also think De Minaur against Sinner is an absolute one-way traffic scenario. But if there's one court on the planet and one surface, it would be grass and it would be Wimbledon, where I think that De Minaur would have at least a chance of making it competitive. Other players as well. Yeah, Medvedev, sure, and Zverev less so. It's Zverev's weaker slam, which is why I understand you suggesting that there'll be less competition for Yannick there. But there's also players that we barely know about right now. There'll be players that are 16, 17 that are just joining the tour that will emerge as a threat, just as Yannick did 5 years ago,
Fonseca to take out Sinner in Roland Garros.
Fonseca, don't mention him, or you'll get some people. You'll get people very divided in the chat. I mean, Nerland, by the way, Jake here reminding you of your fantastic prediction that it was going to be an easy win for Rublev.
Really easy win for Rublev there, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
I remember I watched Fonseca's debut ATP Tour match, and I mean, Fils really didn't play well at all. But I mean, all I can remember was just every other.
Oh, in Rio, yeah.
Fonseca just painting lines every other point.
Feast actually brought it up recently.
Sorry?
Feast brought it up in an interview, I think, this week in Rotterdam, funny.
Yeah. Well, I think did Feast get bageled in the first set?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
There you go, and it's 4-all. After QB had 3 points to make it 5-1, it's now 4-all.
Okay, I think with any luck, I should be now logging in. What I did is I just logged out of my Wi-Fi and then logged back in again. And now I'm hopefully in and therefore be able to watch this match. My stream, by the way, is traditionally, that's the biggest weakness for my £9 a month deal. 10 years. I convert it, by the way, it's $9.99 in euros. But my biggest weakness is that it's normally about 30 seconds behind, whether it be football or whether it be tennis or whatever. So,
okay.
But at least I'm going to now understand when you say what a point and Alcaraz has won it. At least, how did I do for those 8 games, by the way? Just talking about random stuff while I didn't see a single point.
You did expert. It was like you were still watching and just, absolutely flawless, John. Love 15. If Alcaraz wins this set 6-4, Hubie's going to be kicking himself. And it'll be, if Alcaraz wins the set 6-4, the second set Alcaraz is going to win 6-1. Calling it now. Oh, it's such a big backhand from Alcaraz. From what I've been following on Twitter all day from you, Jake, this is quite impressive that you're still awake. Yes, I agree.
Jake and I, we are shared buddies on an app called Beer With Me. And I occasionally get notifications that Jake is having a beer and vice versa. I don't think we're ever quite in sync, though, Jake. It's normally me having a beer at a different time to you.
I knew he was going to be on this live stream because he posted on Twitter that he was going to be having a beer after work, and he wanted to watch the stream. So,
are you a rugby fan, Fergus?
I am.
Well, is there a sport you're not into? I mean, I know you're across football, you're across tennis, you're across F1. Now I'm learning rugby as well. I think there's another sport I've seen you tweet about as well.
You'll struggle to find a sport that I'm not interested in, yes.
Okay. Ping pong?
I'm not a huge ping pong fan.
There was an incredible point ping pong that was doing the rounds the other day because quite a few tennis sort of people were like, and this is just nuts. And I must say that was a fun point to watch. Just a guy just whacking it as hard as he could, and the other guy defending after about 40 shots like that. And I now see Alcaraz has got 2 break points. But that volley I
had a feeling that
first volley from Hurkacz was just not good enough and put him in all sorts of trouble.
Saves the first for the smash. Cornhole, I don't mind. Pickleball, you've got me there. I absolutely hate pickleball. Can't stand it. I think it's one of the worst sports ever invented.
That's a good smash there from Hurkacz, yeah.
Terrible. Can't stand pickleball. The sound it makes is disgusting.
I don't even know what cornhole is, Dave.
You basically use... It's like... I don't know. It's like this board, and then there's just like... And then you have like, it's like bean bags, and you throw them, and if they go in, you get points for getting it in the hole or landing it on the board. Another save from Hurkacz.
Yeah, I think Alcaraz just gambled there and thought he was going down the tee. In the end, it was sort of out wide, but it wasn't that far out wide. But I think it was enough for Alcaraz to earn. What was I going to say? NFL. From my point of view, listen, I have zero interest in it pretty much, although I know it's the Super Bowl tomorrow. But it's just because of my upbringing. If I grew up in the US, I'm sure I would be into it and would love it and would understand it. And even though I don't like it, I am one of these people which will join the party if I'm in a decent time zone in order to be able to watch the Super Bowl. And if you offer me free tickets, I'll take it off. Yes, I'm watching this rally right now. I'm watching it now, and Alcaraz is on the attack. He's going to have an easy smash, which I puts away. Although he nearly missed it. He nearly missed it.
I think he did. I don't think he would have wanted it to be that close, but
I haven't seen the replay yet. I've just seen it like in normal time. But I was like, well, he's obviously put this away because I know Fergus said it. If you hadn't sort of told me
Another
that he had a great
saved.
point, yeah, I would want to see it again. But it does land actually a little bit further than I thought. Yeah, Hurkacz will be desperate to get out of this game. But listen, good news is that these service games for both players are competitive. Again, Hurkacz going for the out wide serve on that serve, and that's got him out of trouble once again.
Yeah. Damien's always living his best life.
Yeah. Yeah. Breaking talking tennis news, which I'm sure Nerlan and Jake will be keen to know, is that Damien and I will be living our best lives in Estoril later on this year, which of course this year's been downgraded to Challenger from 250 status, which is a pity, but we love the tournament so much that we are not going to let it get downgraded in our lives, and we'll be there covering that as well. As Hurkacz goes long there. Go on.
Damien's absolutely buzzing that it's a Challenger now.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I actually
buzzing.
I sort of had to lean on him quite a lot to come last year because I went in 23 for the first time, and it was my first tournament covering a tournament in this manner for the channel, and I loved it. And I thought, oh wow, I thought things couldn't be better than this, but actually things didn't get any better. In the following 12 months on tour, it was like still my favorite.
Double faults to gift Alcaraz the lead now.
And he went out wide on the first serve. Alcaraz is so far deep, even though it's a second serve, although it doesn't matter because he clips the net and it goes wide. Hubert Hurkacz. He does have a maybe slightly unfair, but and I think it's far too early, and it's also a semi-final, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to be talking about chokes and anxiety and stuff. I'm really only interested in that when it comes to a top 10 player, although I know he's 21 in the world right now. If it happens in a semi-final of a slam or whatever, or if he's got a big advantage and it gets away. But yeah, people do talk about him and his nerve, and it seemed to evade him there as he double faults. And now Alcaraz, what's that, from 4-1, I think? So four games in a row.
Well, there was Hubie had points for 4-love, 5-1, and it's now 5-4 Alcaraz.
Yeah,
crazy. What was I going to say? I was going to say something I forgot.
Estoril, Challengers, Damien, Nerland's predictions. Hobie Hurkacz's nerve. You keep thinking. Why does Hubie keep wrapping his arm with his towel on the sit down? Well, Matthew, your guess is as good as mine. Maybe there is an issue there. I see he's got a little bit of strapping on one leg as well, but then most players at one point or another seem to have some physical issue. There was something else I want to say about Estoril, I think. Yeah, basically just things never got better. And then last year I invited Damien, and he was like, well, I'm supposed to sort of be the challengers guy. I said, listen, I know the tour can suck in terms of access to these players, but actually Estoril is pretty good, especially in the mix zone. We get interviews regularly there, and it's good. We have to share those interviews if you like, but that's fine. And he came along and he had a good time. So him and I will be there again this year, even if it's going to be just a challenger. But although it might not get the names like Hurkacz, who won it last year, or Casper Ruud, who's sort of been a regular there, whether he'll play it, I doubt this year. We'll still get some of the Portuguese gang that we enjoy watching, your Rochas and your Jaime Farias, and maybe Fonseca. We'll see. Maybe Fonseca will stay.
Well, he played there last year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Went out to Jan Choinski in the first round.
Yeah, he did. Much to Damien and I's disappointment, but yes, he did.
Yeah, I remember watching that match quite intently because it was probably some of the first clay court tennis I'd watched ever.
Okay.
So I remember I sort of just after Miami.
Away from French Open, you mean, right?
Yes, yeah.
Bring it back on there.
After Miami, and I sort of just turned it on, and obviously I knew Choinski because he was British, and obviously Fonseca, and can't have been there first because I watched Rio and Buenos Aires, but anyway, and it was was a bit disappointing from Fonseca, to be honest. After how he played in Rio, I was thinking, well, this is going to be a bit of a washout. But Troitsky actually played really quite well.
Strangely, he's pretty decent on the clay. Maybe it's
He
just
is.
because he plays it so often, I think.
He grew up in Germany, so he played on the clay a lot. And he usually, as soon as it hits about March, he doesn't really move off the clay, which was why it was such a big shock when he actually managed to qualify for the US Open. Because he has more time. Yes, he's quite a big guy, and he does play quite well on the clay. Unfortunately, he didn't make any waves in qualifying in the Roland Garros. But yeah, that's, as I was saying, it was quite a shock that he managed to beat I think Cressy in the third round of the US Open qualifying.
Yeah, that was an incredible match. Yeah,
By the way, it was such a
break point now for Hurkacz after some unforced errors here from Alcaraz.
Oh my! I've been watching and I just assumed Alcaraz was just serving.
Well, he got to 30 love,
easily.
didn't he? He sprayed a couple of balls now, and suddenly he's at 34.
Second serve for Hubie to look out as well. No strips are weird. They're everywhere now.
They are back for now. Whether they'll be here for stay, I don't know.
Hubie's gone long off the return. He'll be disappointed with that. Because Alcaraz wore them the back end of last year. Ruud's been wearing them.
Yeah.
Draper was wearing them in training for the Oz Open. They're going back into fashion a little bit, but I hope not for long because they're not very appealing to me. Hubie goes long again off return, and it's set point for Alcaraz. But you talking about Estoril, I think those ranked like 60 to 50 and game and first set Alcaraz after basically being down and out in the entire first set. And
he very close went to a double breakdown. He had to save break points at 1-4. He had to save break points, I think, when he did hold serve in his previous service game as well. And yet, from that 4-1 game, he's won 5 in a row.
Yeah, Hubie will be absolutely furious. And as I said if Alcaraz wins this set 6-4, that I reckon the second set will be 6-1. Because Hubie won't have mentally reset before it comes back around.
Alcaraz's serve is gettable. Let's say that.
Yes.
And it's not always the case. Sometimes he has good serving days and sometimes not. But both players are. Hubie surprisingly vulnerable on serve.
Unreturned serves 8 from Alcaraz and 12 from Hubie. Someone that's the 6th best server on tour statistically, you'd expect more.
Is he 6? Is he? Just off the top of my head, I'd have him a bit higher up, but then I guess Yannick is probably above him.
Can you give me
Fritz,
the
Zverev,
top 5?
I guess.
In order, John.
Yeah, so I don't know the order. Okay, so listen, let me see if I can get the 5 names, and then we'll talk about the order. So we've got Yannick above him, is that right?
Yannick, yeah.
We've got Zverev above him.
Yes.
We've got Fritz above him.
Yeah.
Okay. That one I wasn't 100% sure about. Those 3 are fairly easy for me. And is this based on 2024 or what's it?
Yeah, this is based on 2024.
Okay, just a second. So there's 2 players I'm missing, and one of them I'm not to it yet, but one of them might. Okay, shall we go? Let's go Alcaraz then.
No, Alcaraz is 13.
Okay. Just a second. Let me see if I can get the other two anyway. I mean, Djokovic?
No, Djokovic is 9. You're looking for a Frenchman and another Italian.
Okay. Humbert?
No. He's he's burst onto the scene last year.
Peace?
No.
A Frenchman who burst onto the scene last year. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, well, of course. And Petri Pericard.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And the Italian is Matteo Berrettini.
Berrettini. Okay. Okay. Well, first is going to be Yannick, is it?
No.
Is it? It's Zverev?
Nope.
Fritz?
It's Pericard.
Oh, it's a Petri Pericard. Okay. By the way,
Then,
what was this coming from Tennis Insights or what's it coming from?
This is coming from the ATP Tour.
Okay.
Website.
And this is just their sort of serve ranking kind of
Yes.
thing based on everything. Okay. And Petri Pericard first. Sinner second?
No.
Zverev second?
Yes.
Sinner third?
No.
Sinner's not third. So Fritz is third.
No.
Who was the other one? I've forgotten now.
Berrettini's 3, then Sinner, then Fritz.
Okay. Okay. And Hurkacz is 1530 down here.
Yeah, and second serve for Alcaraz to look at. Scrambling around from Carlos, and it's such a good pass. And it's 2 break points for Alcaraz straight off the bat. What did I say?
Oh boy, Alcaraz. Although the movement from Hurkacz at the net could have been a bit better, and again, whether he's carrying something there, I don't know. But still, Alcaraz, when he was well down in that point, as he's chasing that ball across the court there, on both sides.
Stereotypical Alcaraz chasing, and that's, oh my god, it's ridiculous. Oh, Alcaraz is going to be so disappointed. That's a ridiculous return.
No, I'd like you to answer some of these questions. Yeah, that is a great return. He doesn't win the point from here. Okay, yeah. Backhand into the net.
Do I like Damien with or without beard? I'm not too bothered, to be honest. I quite like Damien with beard.
We need some answers from you, Nerlan, on these topics.
Yeah. QB saves both break points.
I mean, basically, I don't remember many games in this entire match where there wasn't a bunch of break points.
No, I don't think anyone's held. I think the only comfortable
I think Hubie did. I think he did have 1 or 2 comfortable holds at the beginning of the match, Hubie.
Oh, yeah. The games 1 and 3, I mean, that's just huge from Alcaraz. Games 1 and 3 were very comfortable for Hurkacz. But since then, I think nearly all of them have been 40-30 or deuce.
Yeah. See, Alcaraz got himself into the point there with a return that I think most players on tour wouldn't make, never mind with the depth that he made. It wasn't like a remarkable return from him, but it was like an incredible, big serve from Hurkacz. But Alcaraz gets his racket on and gets great depth on it. And from that point onwards, it's neutral, and we know how often those points end up. Nerlan, do some research.
Alcaraz going long really on the stretch.
Yeah, he was on the stretch there, yeah.
You sense that this game is really critical for it's more critical for Hurkacz more than Alcaraz.
At the end of the match, we'll do a sort of a quick 1-minute sort of reflection, but we'll also probably look ahead towards the final for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. And Alcaraz goes long again, and it's Hurkacz with game point. How many? Oh, good use of the drop shot from Hubie, and he holds. Very important for Hurkacz. When you think about big servers, you think about Isner, Karlovic, even
Opelka.
someone like Raonic. Who do you feel is the most successful like serve bot in a sense? Is it Isner? But
Isner,
just the
yeah.
one master. Just the one Masters
Yeah.
title.
One Masters, but what was it, semi-final at Wimbledon when he lost to Anderson?
Yeah. But then you look at Raonic, who made the final of Wimbledon.
Yeah.
But no master, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think of Isner slightly more, but I just think that maybe, like, say at Wimbledon, for example, let's just say he got to the final. Let's say he beats Kevin Anderson. I still think he's losing to Novak. But who knows? With him on grass, easy, he gets to a tiebreak in every set.
Yeah.
Somehow he wins one of those tie breaks, and then who knows where it ends up.
I mean, can you count Cilic as a serve bot? I mean,
no, I don't think so. I think if Cilic has been a bit more. Otherwise, he would win that battle. Yeah. If you had him in there.
He has only one with a slam.
Yeah. Nerland comes up with the most random names.
Yeah.
Do you know who Anderson Cooper is, by the way?
Nerland.
Yeah. Do you know who? Don't worry if you don't. I'm not patronizing here, but do you know who Anderson Cooper is?
No.
It doesn't matter. He's not. He's just a broadcaster in the US.
Ah, okay.
No big deal.
15 all. If you can, how long was Isner in the top 10 for?
Dave, let us know. How long was he in the top 10?
Yeah, Dave, how long was Isner in the top 10 for?
I would say the best part, like most of probably 10 years. I don't know. He might have dipped in and out. No, maybe a bit less. Maybe
I think it was a bit less. I think he sort of.
It's probably more like 5 years, but I don't know if it was unbroken like his serve, but
yeah.
Hurkacz return. Come on.
I don't know. It's a good question, Matthew.
I think it's a bit of both, isn't it? You know, if they have a huge serve and can't do much else. I mean, but who was top 2, top 3 fastest serves in the world and were an excellent mover? Almost no one.
None of them.
See, that's where Cilic, I think, comes in. Cilic moves a bit, you see. Cilic moves quite well for a big guy, you know.
He does.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know from anyone in the chat, actually. Tell us someone who had the fastest serve. I mean, obviously, Yannick Sinner right now is not a serve bot, but he gets good serving stats. But he's not. Yeah, it's got to be a combo. You've got to be like the top 2, top 3 fastest server on tour, and struggle with movement. Put it that way, and therefore the players we've just mentioned fall into that category, and that's why we joke when Alcaraz has a good serving day and he jokes about himself being a serve bot, is because he's anything but. 1-1, by the way. He holds to 15 there with a forehand winner. Looking quite happy with himself. Rusetsky, I would say yes, he was a serve bot, Matthew. Yeah. Someone who remembers him pretty well, because there wasn't a huge amount else to his game. Funny enough, he never made a Wimbledon final, but he did make the final of the US Open. But it was always Wimbledon that we were expecting the final to come at.
Was he got to 4 in the world? Was it? I think
Ben Shelton is not a serve bot. Yeah, that's probably a good example of someone with an absolutely monster serve, but because they move so well and because they're not, 6'10". Probably the 3 things that we need. He's only ticking one of those boxes, right?
I think you take away Sinner, and I think Shelton maybe has the best all-round game
because he's such an athlete. Yeah,
big athlete, big forehand, half decent backhand, huge serve, great mover.
Great, just the return really is the big area for him. Yeah, maybe some net. I'd like to see him do some decent net plan. I think if he did, he'd have a good run at Wimbledon one year. But he's got
a good serve and volley. But yeah, I think backhand, and his Hubert as well there. very good drop shot. Yeah, net play.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Remember.
Sorry, that's nice
Yeah.
of Hubie, yeah.
But I expect Shelton at some point to make a deep run at Wimbledon. I don't know. Yeah, good forehand from Hubie again. If you were to ask me, like, who's gonna make a semi-final run that's unexpected again this year, Roland Garros, I would probably. Sorry, I'm just watching this point. Alcaraz goes wide and Hubie holds. I think that's the first Hubie hold in a while that hasn't felt like a pain to watch from Hurkacz's perspective.
Okay.
You look at Petchy Pericard and how big a serve he has, but then you think about his one-hander backhand is a real issue, and consistency and weakness. That's definitely Petchy Pericard's biggest weakness.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, good chat. I like that. Keep coming with the thoughts, and also let us know about Isner, Dave, if you're still with us. Just how long he was in the top 10. In fact, I could probably Google it if, right now, how many weeks Isner spent in the top 10. Isner weeks in top 10. Ranked as high as number 8. John Isner falling out of the top 10. I've got an article about that. Don't know. In terms of a quick Google. Had 2 quarterfinals at the US Open, 2011, 2018. Of course, 2010 was that epic he had at Wimbledon against Nicolas Mahut. 11 hours and 5 minutes. Most aces on tour.
14,000 something.
Yeah, 14,470. Turned pro, I think, 07, 08. Top 20 for 10 years. Okay, cool. Yeah, because he career high at 8, so it's unlikely that it would have been in. But I get your point, Dan. So, love 15 here on the Alcaraz serve.
No ATP 500s, just 15 250s and 1 Masters. Very rude. Isner. Very rude-esque statistics right there.
Yeah, although Ruud now has a 500, doesn't he, with Barcelona last year?
Yes, he does. He does now, yeah.
An interesting point here. Is this going to go Alcaraz's way? It probably shouldn't. It does, yes.
It does. It's crazy to think how close Ruud was to the #1 spot in the world with his trophy cabinet.
Yeah, I do think that there's some anomalies, if you like, in terms of 500 titles and lack of there. For example, I think I saw in the WhatsApp group the other day in terms of Cam Norrie winning more ATP 500s on clay, I think, than Federer, Sinner, and a bunch of other legends, maybe Djokovic put together. So
just the one.
I think
mean,
he's certainly got Rio.
Rio. This is only 500. Rio is
Okay, so there you
his only
go.
500 is Rio.
Yeah. I think
then
he
he
won
had
Rio and made the final of Argentina, didn't he?
4 250s and then 1 Masters, I believe. I think it's 6 titles. Yeah, great pass from Hurkacz. Backhand down the line. No way Alcaraz can cover that. Add more chocolate into croissants. Find the amount very. Actually, yes, I do think that they should add more chocolate to pain au chocolats. Yes.
No, I thought you were a model of good health. I can't believe you're eating pain au chocolats.
Nothing wrong with a pain au chocolat.
Oh, I love them, but
They're
I
very
an unhealthy lifestyle. Nerland talks about how much gas there should be in fizzy water, generally.
Alcaraz with game point after Hubert hits the net with a backhand. Oh, it's a scramble point that Alcaraz wins, and Hubert will be disappointed that he didn't win it. He snatched at it.
Yeah, from there, he just couldn't get his body right for that forehand. He couldn't get his body right for it.
Looked like it was mostly frame when he almost jumped into it. Yeah, it was. He flicked his wrist too early on it, and he just flew off the frame. Unfortunately for Hurkacz. 2-all.
I'd be surprised if this goes 3, but
I would be surprised if this goes 3 too.
I'm saying it now though because before the match, I probably would have gone for 3. Actually, probably would have gone Alcaraz.
This might end 6-4, 6-4. I think. Don't know when the break will come though. I just think it'll be the 1 break, but I don't know when in this set. Alcaraz looks pretty steady on serve at the moment. Big forehand from Hubert.
Yeah, lovely. 30 love.
Do you think Hurkacz has another big title in him?
Oh yeah, oh for sure.
Yeah?
I mean, how old is he? I mean, I think he's got another 1,000 in him. What's he won 2 so far? He won Miami 1 year and Shanghai,
1 in
right?
Miami and 1 in Shanghai.
And he is 27. Yeah. I mean, he's got another 1,000 in him for sure. I think there's a what has he ever won Queens or Haller? I know neither are 1,000s, but you know what I mean.
He might have won Haller. He hasn't won Queens. He might have won Haller.
Career titles 4. I know he's won Estoril. So
he won that last year. His one and only title on clay. Yeah.
Yeah. First Masters title 2020. Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous from Hurkacz.
But yeah, I think he'll win another 1,000. The big question is, will he ever win a slam or even make a final? Making a final, maybe. I mean, Wimbledon's the one. Really.
Yes. Good hold from Hurkacz. 3-2.
They've got a run at Wimbledon. Yeah. I mean, right now it's Alcaraz, Sinner, and then there's the rest. And he maybe, if fit, is kind of very close at the top of that list of the rest at Wimbledon. You know, Taylor Fritz would argue that he should be there. Djokovic, of course. You know, how much longer will he be there? But Berrettini, it's a sort of similar thing for him with Wimbledon, albeit he's made a final, of course. Won the first set as well, didn't he, against
Djokovic, yeah.
Djokovic.
I'm curious to know, do you think that there should be a grass court Masters?
Honestly, I'm going to say no, because there's just not enough time in the year for all of these. I actually would rather have 1 or 2 less tournaments in a year, and I'd rather have 1 or 2 less 1,000. So I think on the women's side, I think we 10 or 11 at the moment, 1,000s. And I think on the men's, we might have 9, I'm going to say. I would rather see a sort of nice balance to the year where we have 4 slams and 8 masters. Now, the question, so therefore, we just need to lose masters rather than add masters. And I don't have listen, Queens is amazing. Haller's amazing. You know, you get the big players there because they all want to play at least one grass court. Most of them at least do. I mean, Djokovic and Nadal and Federer sort of less so towards the end of their careers, but the rest all want to play at least one tune-up tournament. Doesn't matter if it's 500 or 1,000. You know, Queens is really important. Haller is super important. It doesn't matter if it's 1,000 or not. And so I'm fine with them being at 500s, and then the other tournaments before it, such as Stuttgart and Hergen-Togenbosch, which I always have problems pronouncing, as a 250. Just fine. And there's just not enough grass court season at the moment to make it happen. I would rather see, as I say, less 1,000s. Now, whether that means you sort of do something with Madrid and Rome. Rome has the prestige and the history, so I don't want to see that go. Whether you did sort of 1 year Madrid, 1 year Rome, or whether you did... I love Monte Carlo because it's that 1 week of 1,000s, which I would love to reinforce and reinstate across the tour, because I think it's ridiculous now having these 2-week 1,000s. Again, it diminishes really the tour in many respects. For me, you'll get more players skipping them as well, the absolute top players, because they're like, listen, I would rather have 2 weeks at home with my family rather than 2 weeks more on tour, which is why you often see players such as Djokovic skipping Madrid, for example, or even Alcaraz at the age of 19 or 20, as he was at the time, just saying, I'm skipping Rome. I mean, this is just nuts when a player is saying, I'm skipping a 1,000. I think it should tell you something that what's going on. So, yeah, I would rather see 8 of them, basically.
I think
Paris could go for me, yeah. Paris-Bercy could go.
8 is a good number on both sides.
Yeah.
The women play 10, and the men play
9.
9.
I would also be happy to see. I'd happy to see some kind of sort of sharing between Montreal, Toronto, and Cincinnati. I know at the moment it's Montreal and Cincinnati Montreal and Toronto that have that sort of, but some sort of like 1 year Canada, 1 year Cincinnati, 1 year Canada, 1 year Cincinnati, or something. I just think we don't need all of these tournaments. But yeah, I'd also be fine with Madrid and Rome switching up, or dropping Paris-Bercy, for example.
To be honest, I'd be happy if the season ended on Shanghai, and then it was the ATP finals. Yeah, but I guess they have to play the indoor season because they then play ATP finals indoor at the moment. But
it's going to be indoor for another few more years, I think, as well.
Yeah, so as long as it's indoor, I don't see Paris going whilst the ATP finals are still indoor. But I would be happy to end the season at Shanghai. And I think taking out Madrid might be a good idea, or even dropping Madrid down to a 500.
Listen, I tell you what it'll come down to is which tournaments are making money. And if Madrid is making money, and I have no idea, but I think it probably is, then it'll stay. If, for example, Cincinnati was struggling, maybe financially, I don't know, then that would be the one. And yeah, whichever one is probably like like the margins are the tightest. That's what'll probably come down to. If they're all making phenomenal amounts of money, and they might be, they'll all stay. But I don't think a lot of these tournaments are. I think a lot of their I know Berlin, for example, I know it's a 500, but on the WTA side, I know that sponsors and organizers have been pulling out of that left, right, and center. So, yeah, I know that's going to have a new organizer in 2025, and we'll see how that pans out. It's certainly been a much criticized tournament by the players. I think Kazakina said in her vlog, it's easily the worst tournament on tour.
Well, there you go. Regarding the 1 week, I saw someone say that the 1 weekers are good, and I agree that they're good. But I think if we're going to do 1 weekers, there should be no buys for the top players. I think we should have 64 from the start. All 64 play immediately. So
Yeah,
Sinner plays a first round match, doesn't just go straight to a second round match.
Sounds good to me.
If you're gonna play a 64-man or woman tournament, every one of those players should play five matches, six matches. Sorry,
six matches.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's also halving the slam. You know, it's 128 in a slam, best of 5. We're going to go, 6 matches, and so it's half the field, one less round, and I like it. Yeah.
I also think it'll produce more upsets. I also think it'll produce more entertaining tennis. It'll also make, I think, maybe if you keep a couple masters as 2 weekers, I think Indian Wells has the pedigree to be a 2 weeker, because it's obviously known as the 4th slam. Fifth slam, not the 4th slam. I just really hate the US Open. No. The 5th slam, I think some masters have that pedigree that gives them the right to be 2 weekers.
Miami is a vulnerable one for me in terms of...
Yes, I was literally about to say, if you have these masters that are back-to-back, maybe you have one that's a 64 and one that's a 128.
Yeah, but I also think Miami might be vulnerable. I mean, this sunshine double thing, I know it's a lovely sort of expression that we've had. What was it? Carlos had a funny expression for it. I think he called it the sunny double or something the other year. It was quite funny. But I know it's a sort of a thing in tennis and a huge achievement because of how quick they follow each other and also the different conditions. Again, I don't know what the financial situation is there. They changed venue about 5 years ago. But yeah, I don't know how it is in terms of that tournament and money. But yeah, listen, eight masters, 4 slams, 64 sounds good to me. Draw, 6 rounds. You play all 6. Best of 3. I think it's fine. I know obviously in the past, like up until about 20 years ago, or a bit less actually, some of them were best of 5. But no, I'm fine with best of 3. We've got that special best of 5 thing going on at slams. I'm loving the 15-day slams. It just makes total sense to me. It's unbelievable. It's taken us until 2025 to have 3 of the 4 slams that way. But it just makes you just get more people being able to go and watch tennis, and even watch tennis on TV. Bearing in mind, it's obviously on a Sunday. We could watch it it was just a little bit easier to watch that late night Saturday night tennis as it began in Australia this year than it would, of course, be on a Sunday when it began. And of course, people going to watch it, it's a little bit easier to, go on, not work on a Sunday than it is on a Monday to a Friday. So yeah, the problem with Slam starting on the Saturday, which is a possibility, is that of course that then you really are encroaching on the tournaments that precede it. Go on, Fergus, what were you going to say?
So if you have 8 each, I think you give the women don't play. They play Doha and Dubai in October, and February is a 1,000th month for both sides. Both play Indian Wells in Miami. Then they play Madrid and Rome. then Toronto and Cincinnati. Then the men play Shanghai and then make Beijing a 1000. And the women play Doha and Dubai at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, finances will rule, but one of those Middle Eastern ones for me. I mean, they do. Probably the second one sort of fades from our memory pretty quickly, or fades from our interest. The two 1000s that are coming up on the women's side. The first one because it's sort of the first big tournament for a lot of the players post Australia, but if finances will rule, I know that. So at the end of the day, if those two tournaments, by the way, those two tournaments probably don't have the same financial pressure that others do, let's say, in terms of that being bankrolled, and they probably don't care if they win or lose money. But yeah, personally, I think like tennis, yes, it's just too many. Just too many. And I think you also diminish the quality of us across the rest of the tour. So you get players pulling out, you get players withdrawing. Right now, I can tell you for sure, I wouldn't be surprised if big players now will be going into that North American swing and some won't play Canada. Some will just play Cincinnati as a warm-up for the US Open. Whether Alcaraz will fall into that category, we'll see. He didn't play, obviously, Canada last year. That's because of the Olympics. But I know that there were some comments from his team after he lost to Medvedev in the semi-final of 23 that it was sort of too big a sort of batch of big matches coming from Wimbledon, where he won Queens in 23. He then won Wimbledon in 23. He then plays Canada. He then plays Cincinnati. He's the epic final against Novak in Cincinnati. And then he's just, running out of steam or running out of ideas against Medvedev in 23 in that US Open semi-final. So that was just too big a call. If he goes out early at Wimbledon, that can change things. But otherwise, so you're just going to have that. And you don't really want to have 1,000 tournaments where the best players in the world aren't appearing. There's been a lot of discontent regarding Paris-Bercy in terms of, again, Sinner just withdrew the other year because he's like, look, I'm playing tennis matches until 2:00 in the morning. And I don't want that if I want to win the ATP Tour finals or the Davis Cup that were also on the horizon that particular year when he withdrew. So, and then the fans are just disappointed.
If you start the season in January, instead of luckily the next year, the season will actually start in January. The 2026 season will actually start in 2026.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I didn't know
starts
that.
on the 2nd.
Oh, cool.
So that's a bonus. I think that's a bonus, first of all. And then I think you shuffle everything. It's hard because I think you definitely need to cut out some events, and you have it so the ATP finals are end of October, and then Davis Cup and Billie Jean King Cup is start of November, and then everyone has pretty much 2 months off. I think that's how the season needs to work. I think they almost need to cut out the indoor season entirely. Just because I find it quite
I know what you mean, but Basel, Vienna, and
it's quite it's not, I wouldn't say depressing is the right word, but I'd say it's quite it's a great point, and Hurkacz will be delighted that he's won that point. I think it's just quite an unnecessary.
Alcaraz should have won it, though. Alcaraz should have won it.
Alcaraz should have won it. Yes, it's quite an unnecessary swing, in my opinion, and one that could definitely be gotten rid of if the ATP finals weren't held indoor.
Paris is changing location. Paris is changing location. This is not going to be at the same place. At the indoor Paris.
Yeah.
So it used to be at this Bercy of a place. It's changing now. I'm not sure where, but somewhere else in the city. There were one or two logistical issues I found. The one occasion I visited the tournament just as a fan in 2022, just in terms of getting the day session people out and the night session in, which is a bit of an effort anyway. But when you're in the open air, it's very doable, but it takes a while. But indoors, logistically, and these are tennis fans, and they're far more cordial than football fans. But you can imagine some of the crushing that goes on as the day session people leave the venue and the night session people return. You're sort of stuck outside in November, end of October, beginning of November, pretty chilly French weather, and it's Yeah. Anyway, Hurkacz, as you say, is held. So Alcaraz now is going to serve to stay in the set. I'm going to play a very quick video, and I'll be back in 2 minutes. If I'm not, just see us through the beginning of this 10th game.
Will do.
Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks, including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material, such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered, whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
No, my mic isn't muted. Just said it was. Alcaraz. 15 all on the Alcaraz serve, serving to stay in it. The second set. Me and John both said that we didn't think that this would go 3, but this next point goes the Hubie's way, and it's looking a little different. I wouldn't say things are looking sticky for Alcaraz at the moment, but just needs to keep cool, and he does, putting away a forehand, stay on top. How are we doing, John?
I'm all right.
Good, excellent.
Yeah, 30-15 here.
I do think if this goes to a tiebreak, it's hard to look past Carlos wrapping this up in straights. (40-15).
Nice kicks there.
Yeah.
Carlos.
Wish I had half that kick serve, but
I was going to ask you, kick serve, just forget it for me. But do you play tennis then?
I do, yes. I play for my university team, yeah.
Oh, okay.
In Gloucestershire, yeah.
Pretty much all of us talking tennis do play, and most of us have never played each other. I've played Damien. Jack has played Scott. That's about it, I think. But the rest of us,
Damien? I kind of expect Damien to be quite good.
He's all right.
Yeah,
he's all right. We've had 2 matches. The first one he won He won both in straight sets, but the second one I had a lead of 4-1 maybe in the second set, and we had to move indoors because we were playing outdoors, but the outdoor court was booked up for the following our time came to an end, and so we had to move in, and let's just say he preferred the indoor conditions to the outdoor conditions.
Right.
But that's by the by. He did win the match. But from my understanding, and just listening to everyone and not getting carried away with BS or anything else, is that Vanch has played to, let's say at least this, has easily played to the highest level. He's played some players from the tour. Yeah, he's played against them at least in a junior capacity. I always forget who Andy Murray played at the US Open, maybe in 2023. Let's have a look at his run. US Open 2023, so maybe in 2022. Let me have a look at his 2022 run, because he hasn't played.
Andy Murray?
Andy Murray's Nava. Emilio Nava is who Vanch has played.
Oh, really?
So Murray played Nava in the second round in 2022, won in 4 sets, and Vance has played Nava.
22. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was 21 that you played Tsitsipas first round, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, if it was a Tsitsipas or Dimitrov, that's what. When I looked at his 23 run, you see, Murray's, I knew it because there was Dimitrov was there, and I was like, well, I know I'm not going to forget Dimitrov. No disrespect to Nava, but
yes,
yeah, I'm more likely to forget Nava than I am Dimitrov or Tsitsipas. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Rachel, who's been on this channel a few
yeah,
times
she's played,
now,
yeah.
she plays to a high level. I train with her every Tuesday.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know she plays. Yeah,
because she comes to my uni as well. So yeah, she's a lot better than I am.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yeah, she's played to a lot higher level than I have. I only started playing about 7 months ago.
Oh, okay.
So just like to watching tennis, I'm very new to playing as well.
Okay, so Hurkacz here at 40.
Oh, it's just ridiculous from Alcaraz. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I am watching this point, and I can't believe he ends up winning it, but I see he does. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to laugh.
That is,
and most of the audience are laughing.
I mean, what else can Hubie do here? I mean, it's a great volley. There's so much spin on it.
Yeah, and the what do you call it? The slice before it was pretty decent as well.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he could do a bit more with the volley. It was very tricky though. It was very tricky volley. So I'm not come down hard. And listen, Alcaraz has got the speed, he's got the youth, he's got everything, you know. So and he's got the shots.
It's a great hold from Hurkacz. I prefer singles mainly because I like to back myself to cover the court quite well. I am quite gangly in a sense. I've been told I look like Medvedev when I play tennis. But haven't quite mastered doubles yet. I feel like there's more to know about doubles when you play it. But I enjoy indoor more than I do outdoor as well. So Damien's not the only one.
Yeah.
But there isn't much worse than playing on artificial clay, I can tell you that.
I got Boris Becker on my TV right now. Some commercial.
Yes, you do have to be able to move well.
Cool.
Any predictions for a surprise big tournament winner this year on the men's side?
Okay, let me have a look at the ATP rankings.
We'll call a surprise winner anyone outside the top 10.
I think you got for if we're talking like a 1,000, like Popperin was the one last year, right?
Yeah.
And I think really you'd probably have to go a bit lower down the rankings than top 10. Like, listen, Shelton or Dimitrov or Runa or Humbert winning a 1,000, I don't quite falls into the surprise category. And I know you were talking about a title, so I guess you were thinking 250 and above. But if we were saying
no, 1,000, a 1,000 or a slam,
a 1,000 or a slam. I don't. Even though Hurkacz is 21 in the world, I don't think you can have him because he's done it before and he's very much capable. I guess if we started at Korda or something like that, he's 22 in the world right now. Let's go with a surprise 1,000 for Do we go Felix? Do we go Felix?
Really?
I guess so. Just looking at this sort of 21 to 39 in the rankings right now, grouping. Yeah, I guess he'd be the one just because of some recency bias. I know he's just recently got injured in Rotterdam, but Alcaraz looking like he's going to hold comfortably. Have you got a player in mind very quickly before we head probably towards a tiebreak?
I was thinking if you're going surprise anyone above 20, I'd probably say, oh, give me a moment. Maybe. Why not? Let's say that Petchy Pericard is going to win in Paris.
Yeah. I would also, think of maybe Lahetska as well.
Yeah, or Mahatch, either one. I'm fine with.
I'll go Felix, one of the hardcore 1000s. For him, it would be nice for Canada, of course.
Yeah.
Alcaraz here 40-15.
Berrettini, maybe. But I guess that doesn't really... Is that a surprise, really? Because he's obviously...
Yeah, I don't think he's won 1,000. And because he was away out injured for such a long time. And by the way, an ace from Alcaraz, just perfect spot there down the tee. And we are going towards a tiebreak. So we might be done in a couple of minutes, or we might be here for half an hour or more.
It's a perfect way to start for Hubert and ace. I did play up against a wall for the first 2 months. I actually played for about a month and a half, 2 months before I actually ever went onto a court. Which is quite strange.
Good night, Jack. Jake.
Good night, Jake.
Sorry.
I'm sure I'll see you tweeting in about half an hour anyway.
Okay, Hurkacz wins the first point, so it is 1-0 with now Alcaraz to serve. He's going to get the first serve in the net, and I know Fergus will have already probably seen what happens in this point.
Big forehand from the Spaniard.
So 1-1.
As I said, I find it hard to look past Alcaraz in this tiebreak.
I would be going towards Alcaraz, yeah.
I just feel as though if he gets the first mini break, I don't think that it's going to be hard for Hurkacz to do anything with it. I mean, that's just fantastic scrambling.
Oh, Carlos. 2-1.
It's funny because this is what we're going to, if Carlos does win this tiebreak, this is exactly pretty much what we're going to see from both players tomorrow because Demonor loves to do this sort of stuff as well.
Yep.
Just scramble, scramble, scramble. Oh, has he pushed it? No. He's absolutely nailed it on the line. Catch with that forehand.
I'm watching it now, yeah. Yeah, 2-2.
I tell you what, that's close.
Yeah, it was closer than he probably wanted it. Yeah, for sure.
If I was, that was 3-2. Oh my word! How has Hubie won that point? I was about to say 3-2 Alcaraz because I thought easy pass at the next. I thought it was going to go cross court, but just
Yeah, he anticipated well. He gambled. I mean, he has to really there because he's a sitting duck. But Alcaraz, again, a sense of disappointment from his side. He had two options, as you say. You thought he'd go cross court. But whichever direction he goes in, he's just got to put more pace on that as well. But Hobie did great to interpret it and read it. He has
still
now
on serve.
got 3-2. Yes, on serve, yeah. But that was the chance for the mini break.
I started calling it 3-2, and then
I heard.
Not. 3-3 wild return from Hubie. Kick serve, second serve. still think at 3-3 in the tiebreak second set that Alcaraz will be more confident in himself.
Yeah.
Same, Dave. Yeah, played football since I was about 8 and then stopped about 10 years later. And then just picked up tennis out of nowhere, really. You can probably thank Carlos for me picking up tennis, because after Roland Garros this year was when I started playing tennis. Second serve for Hubie to look at. Such a good serve and volley. Second serve out wide.
Yeah. Lovely volley there. It's a great tool Carlos has now very much in his locker, the serve and volley.
I think he's so quick, it's so effective as well. He gets up to the net before you really realise, and then
his touch as well.
All. Alcaraz goes long. It's crunch time now.
Yeah, Carlos will be a little disappointed that he at least didn't get that one in.
Yeah. I mean, 160 Ks. I mean...
Yeah, it's doable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You can get that.
I mean... And there's the mini break. Hurkacz goes wide off the backhand side. And Carlos now has it on his racket.
Indeed. You can't afford to miss those forehands.
No, you cannot, especially against Carlos. That serve, by the way, was 220 from Hubie. That's pretty big. And just made it look pretty simple. Oh, Carlos double fault. Wow.
As I was just bringing up De Minaur Alcaraz head-to-head. Just looking forward to the final.
Whoa, you've just jinxed it. You've just jinxed it. Hubie to win this tiebreaker. 8-6.
Well,
second serve.
Set point for who? Who's going to get the set point coming up?
It will be Hurkacz.
Yeah, I'm watching the rally now to see how it comes about. Hurkacz comes into the net. It's a good volley from him, and it's too good. It's a really good volley. Really good
volley.
On the backhand side. And so he's won 2 points in a row, both on the Alcaraz serve, having previously been staring down the barrel almost. Barrel of defeat as Carlos was just 2 points away from winning the match with a mini break advantage. And now he's turned it around, and he's going to have some serves of his own to take us to a third set. It's been a really interesting match.
It has, actually. Just giving me Nori Opelka flashbacks right there.
Goes into the net on the first serve.
And his second set, Hurkacz. You literally jinxed it. There you go. You quite literally jinxed it by bringing up the De Minaur Alcaraz head-to-head. Wow, yeah. Carlos would be really disappointed there.
Do I close the De Minaur Carlos head-to-head window? I got that open because I was getting ready for our 5-minute sort of post-match plus debrief for the final, and I got it up 2-0. But is that going to be relevant come the end of this show? Well, we'll find out.
What's the Hubie De Minaur head-to-head?
I don't know. I'll have to check it out now. have
I
a look.
think it might be 2-1.
One each. One each. One Hubert. They haven't played for a long time, which is nuts considering they've both sort of been near the top of the game for the last few years. They haven't played since 2019.
Really?
Hurkacz winning in
Nearly
Madrid.
6 years ago was their last match. Wow.
That's nuts. Yeah, Madrid 2019. And they played once before that in Atlanta, and that was won by D. So it's one each. And
yeah, because Demonor must have won the title that year in Atlanta.
Did he? Okay.
I think so. Off the top of my head, doing research.
By the way, both players' first serve points won in that set were very impressive. 90% from Alcaraz on first serve and 84 from Hubert. But Alcaraz didn't win the set, but there's not much he could do on the first serve. As I see, Casper Ruud is up a break already on Jaime Munar in Dallas.
Munar's playing ridiculous. I mean, it's on an indoor hard court.
Yeah.
Just Ruud, Munar, and then is it it's Paul?
Tommy Paul against someone.
It'll come to me in literally 2 seconds. Paul Shapovalov. There you go.
Yeah, Shap, of course. Shap bringing up some trees there.
He's playing very well this week, Shapovalov. Nerland's back.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah. Yeah, Shapovalov. Yeah, he's having a good sort of few months, winning a title at the back end of last year in Belgrade, I think, indoors.
Yeah, Belgrade.
And now in the semi-finals in Dallas. So, yeah, maybe it's Shapo's going to surprise us by the one to win a 1,000 this year.
Yeah. Yeah, Munar beating Shelton was maybe one of, indoor hardcore.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one that really you would think shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, that's not great for Shelton, but it's is he down to play Delray Beach this week? I'm not entirely
sure. Let's have a look. Delray Beach.
I know Fritz and Paul are both down to play. I'm not sure if Shelton is. He is not.
Yeah, Fritz, Tommy Paul, these are the seeds.
Mickelson. Yeah, there you go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 8 seeds are American. Taylor Fritz, Tommy Paul, Alex Mickelson, Marcos Giron, and Brandon Nakashima among them. And then filling out the top 8 are Arnaldi, David Fokina, and Kecmanovic. Damien's favourite, Kecmanovic.
Kecmanovic, yeah. Definitely his favourite. I have no doubts that he loves watching Kecmanovic play.
So, into a third set we go, and Carlos is once again looking comfortable on serve. I say once again because he's looked pretty comfortable throughout that second set, and yet, of course, he lost those 2 points in a row on serve in the tie break, both on serve when they had a mini break advantage, and that's when it all unraveled.
First up, it's a beautiful volley from Carlos. Such a deft touch. It's nice to see Carlos playing this event rather than playing on the clay out in Rio. I prefer him playing this event than the one in Rio and letting Zverev play in. Nerland, I'm going to leave that up to you, what you think my answer is there.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea.
Yeah.
Nerland, we want to hear your opinions on these.
Yeah, please, Nerland, let us know your opinion, because I'm sure you have some very in-depth ones.
Nerland and shallow.
Love 15, Alcaraz, Hubie on the backhand side going into the net.
Yeah. And having just got back into the match, he could soon find himself slightly out of it again very quickly.
Which is what's good about the 3-set format, I think. I think you always have to be really, on it. Otherwise, it can quickly turn around.
For sure.
Feel as though the match can get away from you very quickly. You lose the first set you lose a tightish first set 6-4, and then you get to 4-all, and then you have a bad service game, and then it's done. There's no sort of up and down. Love 30 Alcaraz. Here he comes. Thanks for your response. No, I appreciate it. Oh, Echeverry Fonseca, first round of Buenos Aires. Fonseca 3 and 4. Ooh, Hurkacz did so well originally on that first volley, but Alcaraz putting too much heat on it. And it's 3 break points immediately.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous movement. And I mean, it's such a good shot if you look at this.
Yeah. You can't teach that.
No.
So the break is Carlos's 2-love. As I just switch over very quickly to the Buenos Aires draw, in which we see Zverev and some of the other seeds with their buys, including Billo and Runa and Musetti as well. But the Nicolas Jarry will potentially be Diego Schwartzman's last ever opponent on a professional tennis court. We'll see if Schwartzman can win that match. But Jarry, of course, making the final last year, en route beating Alcaraz in the semis, to many people's surprise. As you said, Fonseca against Echeverry, that is a 60-40 probably in the Argentinian's favor, but I don't think any of us would be surprised if Zhao was to emerge the winner there. Facundo Diaz-Acosta, I think he had a really good run last year. I'm trying to think if he made the quarters or the semis.
I think he made the
Cam Norrie, I think.
Yeah, he beat Cam Norrie in the first round.
Much to Cam's disappointment. So he's against Thiago Seyboth-Wild.
Sorry,
he's up against Thiago Seyboth-Wild, so that's an exciting first rounder.
That is. I like watching Seyboth-Wild play.
Play tennis for sure. Yeah. Oh, in qualifying news, I saw Jaime Faria won in straight sets today, as we see, of course, some of the qualifiers yet to be placed.
Oh my God, if Alcaraz had made that, I might have ended the stream, but he didn't, so it's okay.
Yeah, I'm watching it now. A bunch of slices. I see what he tried, and it almost came off. The tweener trying to run it down, tweener and going cross-court pass.
Why do you not like Vilch, Dave? You're just not a fan? Actually,
he's a character. Let's say that he's a prickly character.
He is a character. Agreed. But I'm not I remember I watched him at Wimbledon. I went to Wimbledon this year, and I watched him play. Well, I'm not up to date with that, Dave. So maybe I retract my statement.
Don't worry, Fergus. Just listen. I mean, I know some stuff, but we can't really speculate too much. But in terms of his tennis, anyway, he's an exciting watch, especially on clay. But you saw him at Wimbledon last year, did you?
Yeah, I saw him at Wimbledon play Jubb in the first round.
Oh, okay.
And, Jubb was 2 sets and a break up, and Vilch made a forehand that was in by a millimeter, like literally a millimeter, and then the whole match changed completely. It then became 2 sets all, and then Vilch broke in the 5th, and then Jubb made a ridiculous forehand to equal it up, and then Vilch won in a fifth set tiebreak, or 7-5 in the fifth or something. It was a ridiculous match to watch. Went on for forever and ever, as it seemed. But yeah, great to watch. Alcaraz holds 3-love.
Yeah, so that's a huge advantage now for Carlos. The tie away from him, but now 3-love up. Hurkacz on the turn, hasn't broken since the middleway part, or hasn't. In fact, he broke Carlos in the first game. I think in the end, despite it feeling like lots of breaks in that first set, in the end it was just the one or two, just the one break of serve from Hubert, wasn't it? And in the second set, I think they held all the way through, right?
Yes, they did. No, I don't think there was a break point in the second set.
Right. Yeah.
I don't. I might be wrong there, but I don't think there was. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if this was 6-1 Carlos, especially with how well he's playing now, just finding all the angles.
We will see. Yeah, so Jaime Faria winning his first round of qualifying today. Potentially will be playing Nagal in the second round of qualifying. Nagal has got to win his first round yet, though. So, yeah, just some qualifying news coming up from Argentina.
Nagal it's 5-all in the third against Hurkacz. 30-15.
Yeah, I saw the name Hurkacz, yeah.
With Hurkacz serving. Yeah. It's a bit tight, bit tighter than Nagal would have wanted, I assume. Are you sure that? I think you might have read it wrong. Jaime Faria lost his opening round.
Oh, did I? Maybe I did read it
wrong.
Yeah,
6-1, 7-6.
Oh yes, so he did.
To
So he
Cerundolo.
did. Yeah, the not so good Cerundolo. Yeah,
Not
I did read.
The lesser known Cerundolo, not the ranked 31 in the world Cerundolo.
The lesser known one, indeed. Yeah.
Yes,
but that's good for the home for. But yeah, I read it wrong twice. I think I repeated my error.
Yeah, I was about to. I've just looked at it now. I was like, I don't think you're correct. Yeah.
Thank you for definitely always pull me up when it's as black and white as that. Talking of black and white, it's 15-all here on the Hurkacz serve, but he was love 15 down, so relieved to get the next point on the board to keep this interesting.
I mean, if Hurkacz needs to hold here, otherwise things get ugly from a Polish perspective. Oh yeah, missed forehand second serve from Carlos. Is Damien a big Hubie fan?
Not really. Not especially. No. I think if he was to, I'm reading between the lines, but I don't think it's too much to read between. If it was Hurkacz or Swiatek as his favorite Pole, it would be Iga.
Yeah. Well, maybe if Hubie played more on the Challenger circuit, it would.
Maybe, but I think it's a bit more than that. I think there needs to be a couple of other changes. John, I've noticed whenever you talk about Keys, you always refer to it by first name, Madison. I'm just curious, is there any reason for it? Maybe it's just because of her surname, and maybe it's because she's almost more well known for her first name, Madison or Maddie. Don't know. It's like Hurkacz as well, but I call him Hubie as often as I do Hurkacz.
Hubie. Yeah. And I'm looking at results, and I've just seen that this is a bit ahead of my live stream. Hubie does hold here 3-1, as Alcaraz does go long on return. So 3-1, good hold from Hubie. 5-2, Ruud is up against Munar in that first set.
Okay.
Munar serving.
There was a bet involved regarding Dallas between James and Zach. Zach has got in that bet, and I think it's £5 or $5. I think it is Casper Ruud is being backed by James, and Tommy Paul is backed by Zach.
Zach.
So there we go.
I think Zach is the smarter of the two men.
I think so too. The only thing I would say is, especially as seeing how the first set go, I would back Tommy Paul of those 4 semi-finalists, but Ruud probably has a slightly easier task at the semi-final stage.
Agreed. I
Good
mean,
return
maybe
there from Hurkacz. Not often we say
maybe
that.
Shapovalov wins it all, and we're just made to look like mugs.
Yep.
But you know, or maybe Munar wins it all, and we're all made to really to look like mugs.
Yeah, for sure. Especially me after my disparaging remarks just then.
Yeah, I mean, if Munar wins it all, it'd be the best week of his career by some stretch. But yeah, another good return from Hubie, but Alcaraz manages to deal with it. Of course he does, and then Hubie goes wide. I would like, just speaking about Madison Keys, I'd like to say that in the women's final, in the men's final, when it was me and Damien, we were talking about the women's final that just happened. I called that Keys wouldn't play in the entirety of February, and she'd wait till Indian Wells in March. And what has she done? She's not playing in any tournaments in February, and she's waiting till March. So just like to point out that I got that bang on.
Oh, okay.
Because she's pulled out of both Dubai and Doha now.
Yeah. I mean, she did play a lot of tennis, of course, in the, I heard her coach. Yeah, I heard her coach talking about basically they rarely practiced in Australia because she was playing obviously in, was it Auckland? She won on the eve? No, not Auckland. Maybe Adelaide. She won one of the tournaments just before anyway.
Yeah,
and that meant
she'd played
winning on the Saturday.
I think she made semi-finals in Auckland, and then she won in Adelaide, and then
Adelaide.
Yeah,
exactly. Pretty much non-stop tennis for 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah,
and therefore, a well-earned break, as you highlighted. Talking of well-earned breaks, it doesn't look like Hubert Hurkacz is going to get a well-earned break in this game.
And it's not. It's 4-1 Carlos. First, they go for the sit-down. Yeah, Nerland just saying it was Adelaide. It was Adelaide.
For me, yes, Dave. Keys winning the Australian Open is basically like Fritz winning the US Open, but Fritz didn't win the US Open. Fritz getting to the final, I mean, I don't remember his run, but I don't remember like a crazy win he had against Djokovic or Alcaraz for sure. So, I would probably think it's Zverev is the one, although we know a bit more about that head-to-head since then, but that's the one that probably does stand out. Just looking at his run, but I expected him to beat. But I expected him to win that. I expected him to beat Ruud. I expected him to beat Comesaña. I expected him to beat Hugo. I did not expect Madison Keys to win the Australian Open at probably any moment until that match point was confirmed.
I think if Fritz had won...
I know she won the first set. I know exactly. If Fritz wins, then yeah.
But he did not win. Do I think Fritz will? Do I think Fritz will ever win a slam?
Not sure.
I'm gonna pass.
Does sound like Dave doesn't rate Fritz at all. That's what it sounds like in the chat.
Dave, what's your opinion on Fritz? Do you think he'll ever win a slam, or do you think he'll ever win another Masters?
Hell, he should win a Masters. And he'll probably might well get to another final. Maybe US Open, maybe. But he's always going to have issues against, especially Yannick.
Yeah, I think...
Right now, Yannick.
Yeah, without question. I think Wimbledon's a good chance for Fritz to get to a final. Maybe if he was to beat Yannick, on any surface, I think it would be grass. Again, his game suits grass, big server, big forehand, fast. Yeah, but I don't know. I think maybe did Fritz play either Halle or Queens?
I think he played Queens, but I could be wrong. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Just need to get my battery charger.
No worries. He's a stereotypical country club tennis pro, and he tucks his hair into his headband. Is those the only reasons that you don't like Fritz, or is it his like style of gameplay style? Sorry, because I feel as though you saying because he tucks his hair into his headband, you're not a fan. I think that's a bit unfair on Fritz's part. But yeah, Hubie holds quite comfortably to love. So it's 4-2. Alcaraz serving. I think this should be wrapped up after seeing him get to a final, though, and seeing Maddie win. I guess he could win on. Oh, well, yeah. Well,
I could win one. It could.
Oh, crazy point. Hubie wins it. Yeah, I think he could. I think he gets a good draw. I mean, funnily enough, you can think about it. Anyone in the top 10 or top 15 could win a slam if they get a good enough draw. You take out some big names early on, and
you do a Chilich kind of thing, and you maybe get an incredible win somewhere, and then you're done almost. Or you do you're there to pick up the pieces when a Yannick and a Carlos, somehow don't make it to the final, and maybe those two are on one side of the draw, for example, as they can often be because they're not often 1 and 2 in the rankings. So,
love 30 on the Alcaraz serve. Here comes Hubie
again, and Hubie's not dead yet, like the tie break.
If you gave me I think if we have this year a final that doesn't involve Alcaraz or Sinner,
yeah, that would be now that's something. What odds would you give on that? I mean, what is a percentage, a Grand Slam final this year that doesn't involve Alcaraz or Sinner? It's probably like 10%, right?
I mean, it's super tough. I think that Yannick's I think if it's going to come anywhere, it'll come at Wimbledon. I think Yannick's too good on hard court, and I think Alcaraz is too good on clay. Obviously, Carlos has been fantastic on grass, but I think if it's going to come anywhere, it will be on grass. I'd give it around I'll give it 15% chance that neither Sinner or Alcaraz make the Wimbledon final. Maybe Medvedev and, I don't know, Musetti, again, play incredible semi-finals.
I can't see neither of them making it. Anyway, Alcaraz some good serving here to get out of that little spot of bother, at least for now.
Great backhand, and Hubie can't deal with it. 40-30 game point, Alcaraz. If he holds here, I think that'll be the end of Hubie's challenge.
Love 30, yeah, that might have been the moment.
Yeah. For the next 10 years. Well, I've got a back Draper to win a slam in the next 10 years, and he always wears a backwards hat, so I'll stick.
Does he always wears the backwards hat, does he? I know he does often.
Not always, but most of the time. Sometimes he turns it forward when it's really hot.
I'm just trying to think of other people that doesn't Runa wear a backwards hat?
Yeah, Runa. Humbert.
Yeah, Humbert. Sinner wears a forwards cap. And there's a few others.
I've never seen him wear it backwards though.
I've seen Novak wears the forwards hat very occasionally, like mid-match, sun is in the eyes kind of scenario.
Yeah, as Alcaraz holds.
Yeah.
Can we capture? Can we like caption that, Dave, and hold you to it, and I'll come back Saturday, 8th of Feb, 2035, and if there's not a single player, well, I'm actually just going to single out, if Draper hasn't won a slam in 2035 when he is 33, then I will, I don't know,
What about De Minaur? De Minaur wears a back. I mean, these players are not. I'm not tipping them to slam, but De Minaur wears a backwards cap.
Is it always backwards? I think I've definitely seen him wear it forward quite a lot as well.
Let me have. Yeah, you're right. It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Usually,
I think maybe you might be right. It might be forward more than backwards, actually.
Because I think when he was younger, I think he wore it backwards a lot more.
You're right. I'm looking at pictures of him now, and the ones with him wearing it backwards are more sort of in his younger
when
days.
I picture backwards at De Minaur, I picture babyface 2021 De Minaur playing in the United Cup
At least
for Australia.
these images, these images are very, very young of him with the backwards cap.
Yeah.
So that's fair. So presuming he won't be changing that. Rublev is a head guy.
Yep. So is Fritz and Zverev.
Dimitrov, is he I know he's obviously, the wrong side of 30 very much to be winning a Grand Slam potentially, but
yeah.
But he does wear the cap backwards from time to time. He also wears the headband sometimes as well. So a bit of a mixture for him.
Shelton doesn't wear hats, does he? So
no.
Oh,
Rune's probably the one. So you're basically saying Rune's not winning a Grand Slam, presumably.
If you just
or he does, but I'm watching it now. Yeah. Oh, Herbie. Oh, does that land in?
No, it's out.
It's out. Okay. Well, in a way, I'm pleased for Hubie, because if he did lose that point, it was really nice anticipation from Alcaraz. It wasn't quite as spectacular as some of the other points that he tries to win and often does. But also, I would have been particularly disappointed from Hubie's point of view if he had lost that one.
Yeah. Mahatch always wears a backwards hat.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
But whether you think Mahatch is going to win a slam's a different
Well, that's the thing. You see, I mean, even Rune with the backwards hat, he might abandon it,
Draper wins 5 majors in a pirate-style headband.
Oh, lovely forehand winner there.
Crossbones on the front. I only take it if there's a skull and crossbones on the front. Then it's really pirate style. Mickelson always wears a backwards hat. Now that's a shout. Like next 10 years.
I'd love to see Mickelson win a Grand Slam. Don't think it's going to happen, but I'm here for it.
You don't think Mickelson will ever win a slam?
I don't think so, no.
Fonseca always wears a forwards hat. He doesn't wear it backwards.
He does, yeah. He certainly, he does, yeah. Casper Ruud won that first set, and they won all in the second.
Right. Just thinking about any other young players. There's Mensik. Mensik wears a backwards hat.
Okay, he's a contender.
Do you not rate Mensik?
Yeah, he's a contender. Yeah.
I'm not impressed with his coaching situation. I don't see it. I struggle with the Rune situation quite a lot. I'm really not sure. I'm really teetering on the edge of what he could do. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Have you seen all of these like fake stories that came out like 3-4 months ago about Rune?
No.
About when he was a junior. I don't know if it's one big joke, but I saw on social media all the time, like 2017, 18 Rune. He was like practicing with Novak and stuff, and he was like winning sets against Novak, like 6-2. I think it's just one big joke, but apparently Rune was just an insane junior, and it really weirded me out when I saw this whole story that apparently he was some god tier junior. Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to separate him and his mum, though, after so long. I think she's going to be there no matter what, to be honest. But I do think it's a similar situation to Stefanos, that it does. And I guess Shelton, in the same way that family coaching is maybe hindering progress of that extra level, but who knows?
Yeah, although she's not really on his coaching team, she just deals with some of his media stuff, I think.
Yeah, lob. Alcaraz too good with the lob, and it takes quite a bit to lob Hurkacz. 6'7".
Indeed.
6'6", 6'7" of him.
Again, the volley there from Hurkacz probably not good enough, and really the approach wasn't quite good enough as well. Just a slight hesitancy when he just decided to dash to the net. And anyway, it is what it is. 15 love, Alcaraz. But yeah, I know. Yeah, the influence is there. I see where you and Dave are coming from, and yeah,
Ooh,
but it's not.
No,
no
from Alcaraz. You'll see it in a second.
Ooh, I see what you mean. Now that's a concentration thing. I think he should be putting that one away.
Yeah, Zverev. I think Zverev was like he was the youngest ATP. He's the second youngest ATP Tour winner ever, isn't he?
Who is, sorry?
Match, not tournament. Zverev.
Oh,
next
maybe.
to Nadal, I think. Yeah, it's like 17 or something.
It's a lovely backhand winner, that one.
It is. Too much points. I like the contrast between Carlos and Sinner in their emotion on court. Carlos is very emotional on court, and Sinner seems very steely presence on court. Doesn't let much show.
Just seeing João Fonseca arriving in Buenos Aires at the venue. Okay, 2 match points here for Carlitos. He's going to get done the first one. Is he going to serve volley?
No, he's not. Hubie plays really well and comes in at the net.
Thought he might try for the serve volley on that first serve. Nice one, Hubie, yeah.
Maybe he's going to read your mind and serve volley on this one, Dave.
No, I think he won't now, though. I think it's for 40-15, yes. No, 40-30, no. Different situation.
Well, yeah, I guess two opportunities. Knows that if he doesn't quite get it right, he has second one at the bank.
Yeah. Hubie there almost falling over. That would have been just kind of amusing.
That's quite that's not a great way to lose a match.
No, but
falling into the net. And Alcaraz gets it done with a forehand winner.
Now that's the way I would expect him to seal the match.
It's a great recovery from Alcaraz after losing that second set. It could have easily got away from him quite quickly. And it began a struggle. Oh, Damien.
Yeah, I didn't tell you who was coming. I thought I'd keep it as a surprise. Damien,
what a surprise. Damien.
Yeah. What are you wearing?
Pleasant or not? I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were wearing a jumper, but it's the cushion behind you or the pillow behind you that's deceiving me.
Yeah, I'm just wearing a normal t-shirt.
What's the t-shirt?
A normal t-shirt, I said.
Oh, normal one. I'm looking forward to that Estoril Open hat putting in an appearance again soon.
Right, I forgot about that. I will have to find it before we come there. Although, actually, maybe I shouldn't take it because they won't give us another one then, right?
Oh yeah, they might not, or they might reward us by
Maybe,
wearing
yeah,
it, going,
for-
oh wow, you're loyal to the cause. Here's another one again. What I won't
Despite
be
the
wearing,
downgrade, which is actually an upgrade. But yeah, never
yeah,
mind.
I know, yeah. What I won't be wearing is, of course, my Porto Challenger hat, which I stylistically actually prefer, and it was a better fit because I left it in a Frankfurt restaurant, which I've yet to. Yeah, I know, Fergus.
Shocking.
Anyway, look at Lurland's here welcoming your appearance, Damien. Damien, you've been.
I'm not used to this, Nurlan. I mean, usually you say I suck and that I'm less than.
Yeah,
something.
but you know why? Because you weren't here. So when you're not here, he's very complimentary. But then so for example, earlier he's saying he did the arrows thing for Damien against Fergus. Anyway, you've been on the show for 2 minutes and we haven't talked about tennis. How much of that final set did you see, Damien?
Oh, barely anything.
Okay. How much are you surprised that Carlos is in the Rotterdam final? Would you have suspected that a week ago? He had a rocky start against Botic, for example, but he does sort of seem to have issues with the Dutchman. Are you surprised to see him in the final, or what are you thinking?
Well, first of all, I don't think he has any issues with Zandschulp generally. Like, I think at the US Open, it could have been anybody in the second round, almost. Of course, not anybody, but like, yeah, it wasn't really the opponent that day. Yeah, I mean, when Yannick pulled out, Carlos became the main favorite to win the event. Some of the other high seeds, they are currently at the crossroads. Medvedev, Rublev, Tsitsipas, and the likes. Alex de Minaur, of course, was in the other half, so he doesn't really come into consideration. Yeah, I mean, other than today, I think he's just had a pretty good run. Pedro Martinez, Adria Vavasori, sorry, but like even on courts like this, yeah, the guys won't be able to touch him really. They don't have that sort of caliber of weapons. Hurkacz, it's a problem, I guess. 4 matches now, every single one of them have been close. Hurkacz even had a match point against him in Cincinnati. But obviously, yeah, today was maybe like the first win where I'm like entering the match thinking, it doesn't have to be easy. He doesn't have to win. I think it's going to be a fine sort of like outcome for him to potentially win this title. Obviously, 500 points, first indoor title since the Next Gen Finals, first like proper indoor title. But it's also an event that, like, well, he's clearly playing for the appearance fee, right? I mean, he's just playing one random indoor event and then gonna move on to Indian Wells. So I guess you gotta play something in February. You don't want to like
is it not
spend
a slightly
a month away.
Fergus and I were talking about this earlier, though. Is it slightly better for the body to come back to Europe, stay in Europe, and then go to Indian Wells, and also hardcore indoor? Is it a bit better? He got injured, of course, in Rio last year. Was he thinking, okay, I mean, I don't know. Was he just thinking that maybe Rotterdam might be a slightly better build up to Indian Wells rather than that, changing completely the surface in South America?
No, I mean, I think it's obvious that they paid him a lot of money, but also, yeah, I mean, going to the Golden Swing the last couple of years, that was also kind of pointless, right? Even when he did win the event in Buenos Aires and then has that Rio run, or the other way around. No, how was it? Yeah, he lost in the Rio final.
Lost the final to Nori.
Yeah, lost in the Rio final to Nori. Even when he had that, like the entire week in Nori, in Rio, he was just like fatigued from even the very start of the event against Mateusz Alves. I think it was his opening round, and that already was tiring. So like playing 2 Golden Swing events, I think it was definitely overkill. So playing just one is better, like regardless of what it is really in February. And I do think that Rotterdam, I mean, the appearance fee must have been enormous.
I think
go on,
I think last year almost gave him the opportunity to stay closer to home and just prepare for Indian Wells, because semi-finals in Buenos Aires, I mean, that gives you semi-finals of a 250 event, that gives you what 90, 100 points. He can sacrifice that, and then he went out first round because he withdrew from injury in Rio, so he has pretty much no points to defend in the Golden Swing. So
was he injured in Rio, Damien? I thought he got basically blown off the court by Montero.
No. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just lasted a few points, but
I think he basically just thought, I'm not winning.
Thiago was killing him. Yeah, I think Carlos he just didn't think that there was a chance he was going to win the match.
Yeah.
He just gave up because he just saw the power.
Exactly.
Montero
overwhelmed. And I thought, I don't want to push myself too far. I've got Indian Wells on the horizon, probably my best tournament of the year.
Yeah, and and then he goes and wins Indian Wells. It's all
And the Netflix slam.
And then and the Netflix slam, that we should have pinpointed a point in that Netflix slam, Damien, that Rafa Nadal could have and should have won, and then and then put it in our mix for the slams that Nadal missed out on. Remember, we did that show of all those points that Nadal maybe could have and should have won, and then his whole legacy would have been different. You know the show I'm talking about, right? Anyway, let's get back to the business and be a little bit more serious regarding this. So, three-set win today for Alcaraz, a straight sets win for Alex de Minaur. Bellucci just running out of steam, it seems. So we're now going to get a de Minaur, Carlos Alcaraz final, Damien. I posited earlier that de Minaur Alcaraz is different to Sinner de Minaur, in that if this was Sinner de Minaur, I would be like just not bothering. But I think de Minaur has a chance tomorrow.
I'm close to not bothering.
Okay.
I mean, definitely some like very defensively oriented players have been bothering Carlos this week. The conditions are super slow. And I mean, he still struggles to kind of like get his foothold on that sometimes. Of course, the Barcelona final, semi-final, which you have here, that was super close. There were match points. There was a pretty spectacular shot match point down. But I think also for de Minaur, like the entire week, I'm kind of just waiting for a match where the slow conditions are also going to hurt him, in the sense that, his shots, they don't have any like pace, depth, quality on them really. It sounds funny, but it's true, like at least compared to the level at which he's playing right now. When it comes to top 10 players, like he just doesn't have any shots, but he's really improved over the years. Sure, he's more aggressive, not on a court like this. Like, how is he gonna be aggressive? And yet his game is like a very good I don't know, like estimate when you have someone like Mattia Bellucci, Matteo Arnaldi in Australia last year, something like that. Like just someone who's young, not just got a good win or something like that. He runs into de Minaur, he's gonna lose 6-2, 6-2 every single time. But then you arrive in a match with another top player where Alex has been struggling generally, and I don't see how, other than just like literally tracking down every ball, like how he hurts Alcaraz with any shot in his arsenal on a slow court like this. So I'm close to not bothering. I mean, I probably won't have to anyway. The Lille final is at 3 p.m. tomorrow. I don't know when the Rotterdam final is, but probably something similar, I would assume. So probably I won't have to bother. But I mean, my expectations aren't too high. Unless it's really just like another one of these performances when, Carlos is trying to attack but is making 100 unforced errors.
Fergus, a couple of days ago, decided to put his neck on the line and tip an Alex de Minaur title win in Rotterdam. So I guess you're gonna have to stick with that, Fergus, right?
Yep, I'm gonna stick with it as much as Damien is
down on it.
The almighty master of tennis. I'll go.
He's not. You get him in. You wait till you see him struggling in that backhand corner, as I saw him in the second set in Porto last year. And he's anything but a master.
But on set point, you approached to my backhand and I found the pass down the line. The approach was horrible, but most of the match it was giving you points anyway.
John, you strike me as a one-hander backhand kind of person. Really?
I'm a one-hander.
You're a one-hander. Really? I would have thought
that's why he was approaching to my backhand. I mean.
Wow. And anyway, I'm still backing de Minaur. I think he's been playing brilliantly this week. Better than Alcaraz has been playing this week. Has de Minaur dropped a set so far this week? I don't think so.
I'm going to check now. I do have his previous matches up here. No, they've all been straight sets. I mean, it's not been maybe the most. I mean, with the exception of Mensik en route, Goffin, Altmaier, and Bellucci, it's not bad to reach an ATP 500 final.
Yeah, I mean, it's not high quality opponents.
Damien giggling there.
Yeah, but it's exactly like what I said, right? I mean, Alex de Minaur below a certain like ranking or quality threshold, he's just gonna crush everybody and crush. I mean, crush. Yeah, sure. The score lines are gonna be very lopsided.
I think I saw a stat earlier that there were now, because he won against Bellucci today, against that certain threshold, he's lost once in his last 30 encounters. he's like 30. He's like 29-1 against people ranked above 30 or something like that.
Or you mean below 30?
Well, depends how you look, but
Probably below 30, I would have thought, rather than above 30. I would imagine there's quite a few
I mean,
Sinner defeats.
it depends how from your
guys know what I mean.
perspective. Like you can actually look at it both ways, right? Like below and above just aren't. They're ambiguous.
Yeah, I do see that stat for various players from time to time and don't give it a huge amount of thought. You just, it's important to beat the guys lower down and not get shocked too often. But probably those stats are more favorable for him than they are for example, someone like Carlos Alcaraz. But what matters most by far is winning titles and winning big ones, which Alcaraz does do from time to time. It's a nice black and white picture of Alex here on social media that I'm going to share for this last minute or so of our preview. I think I would go. I don't have as much certainty as Damien does in terms of an Alcaraz win tomorrow, but I would suggest that he will get the job done one way or another. But I can still see him dropping a set on the way, so I would probably err towards an Alcaraz win in 3. Go on, Hurkacz.
Just like a feeling. When was de Minaur's last top 10 win?
Could have been a while ago, right? I mean, not since the
he had a
injury,
reasonable
probably.
head-to-head. He had a reasonable head-to-head with Medvedev, didn't he? Until probably a couple.
It
of
might
years
have been
ago.
Roland Garros against Medvedev.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, not since the injury. Definitely not since
Roland Garros Medvedev. Yeah, 2024. Yeah.
Was it? Wow. I mean,
at least that's the last one I have on my.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
as a fellow,
it's definitely right. I mean, he hasn't even played that many, right? I mean, he played the ATP finals, went 0-3. He played Sinner and Fritz again at Davis Cup, Sinner again in Australia. Yeah, I mean, that's literally like his all top 10 matches, I think, probably since. So,
yeah.
That's something you definitely want to change as someone that's also in the top 10.
Yeah, but he'd need to land someone like, I don't know, like a Medvedev right now again, or a Rublev in the top 10. You know, it's tough when you play like Zverev, Fritz, Sinner all the time.
Yeah. If he played Medi this week, I think it had a
probably yeah.
I think he would have won there.
But yeah, first indoor final anyway for Carlos Alcaraz as he battles past Hubert Hurkacz.
Next gen finals, do we count it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Anyway, but over sort of a proper tennis match in terms of 3 sets and first to 6 games, etc. He is now into the final. A really good 3-set match encounter with Hubert Hurkacz today that had a few twists and turns. I mean, really from 5-4, including the mini break advantage that Carlos had, we probably thought he would get the job done, especially with 2 serves, but he didn't in straight sets, as often is the case with Carlos. A little lapse there, a couple of sprayed balls, and Hubert Hurkacz took advantage of that. But then in the 3rd set from the early break onwards, it was pretty much one-way traffic. And in the end, we are now going to see that de Minaur Alcaraz final, with Alcaraz leading their head-to-head 2-0. Damien and I are both pretty much suggesting an Alcaraz win one way or another, and Ferguson is sticking to his prediction of de Minaur winning the tournament. But I suspect there's a few more doubts in his mind right now than maybe certainly if Hurkacz had won today. I think you might have had a bit more optimism, Fergus.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to let on that I have no doubts, because I like to think that I'm going to stick to my guns. But maybe Alcaraz might take a bit more beating than I have suggested.
We'll see. We'll see.
We will.
All right. Any final words, Damien? Do you want to address that question from Nerlan? I don't even know what it's about Berrettini.
Yeah, I don't even know whose record it is against Berrettini. Could be
think
ADM's,
he means
maybe.
de Minaur.
Yeah, I think it's like, I don't know. They've played a few times, definitely. Matteo beat him at Wimbledon 23, right? That was the surprising win when Berrettini makes the 4th round out of nowhere. I don't know. But maybe he's just like trying to, make a joke about John constantly mentioning that I like Berrettini. And also to Dave's questions, the slice pass or the topspin pass, it was definitely a topspin pass, set point down against John. I think the other set point was just an unforced error he made. And am I staying at a bed and breakfast somewhere sunny? Definitely not. The sun is the opposite of what you're going to have in Lille this week. The weather is absolutely horrible.
Northern France in winter. Come on.
Yeah, that's what people have been saying too. Like Blocks literally said that like this is why I'm really good indoors, because this part of Europe, I just have to play indoors all the time. The weather is trash, and it is. And also, there's like no heating at the venue, so even though I'm indoors, I still feel it. Today was much better. Today was much better though. Today was probably the warmest day we've had. Like on the morning ground, I was comfortable, but like a day or two ago, Jesus, it was just absolutely terrible. But well, I mean, it's an indoor event, so I'm not crying about it. The light you see is artificial. Don't worry. Yeah, definitely not natural sun at 10 p.m.
Jaime Munar is serving for the second set against Casper Ruud.
Vamos! I mean, this is one of the best stories of the season. You know, the fact that Jaume Munar just decided that in the off season, I'm just going to like train on hard courts, be super aggressive, and just completely change my game, and it's working. Like this is brilliant. You know, the fact that you can do this.
He's also up a double break, so he's got some insurance, and he saved a couple of break points, so he's got to juice now.
It's good to have insurance. Yeah.
Quickly, Damien, who do you want to win tomorrow in the Lille final?
Oh, probably Pui. I mean, Bouquet is a fantastic story, but like the story doesn't really change, you know, regardless if he wins the title or makes the final. I mean, he's already had the best week of his life by far. And Pui, I mean, you know, we've seen some very different sides of him, definitely. Like the first round encounter was just like an unforced error machine, but when he was on it this week, like you just get even more like kind of new appreciation for him. And even today, when he was struggling, he was kind of fun to watch because, well, you can't always be a top 10 player on every day, obviously, like he was in the quarters. So, yeah, probably I would like to see the veteran, kind of the bigger name. And, yeah, just bigger draw if he wins, I suppose, in terms of engagement and stuff. But, you know, I'm not overly invested. The thing with these all French matches in the semis and in the final are that the French really care. Like they still have their favorites and they really sort of like mind who's going to win. Me, I would probably have more of a preference if it was a sort of like nation versus another nation final. I don't know. For some reason, I just, you know, I mean, just you know, go guys, you know, fight for it. Yes, I'm going to enjoy watching it. But it's kind of all the same to me at some point, even though these guys couldn't be any more different, right? I mean, 24-year-olds, like, sorry to say it, but like a nobody before this event, really, and a former top 10 player.
He's going to call you up on that tomorrow. He's watching, and he's going to tell you, Damien, what's that about? I'm not nobody anymore.
Based on his level of English, I don't think he's watching the stream. He wasn't that bad, but he did apologize to me after he talked.
On that bombshell, we'll bring this to an end. As I say, Carlos Alcaraz will be playing in tomorrow's final against Alex de Minaur in Rotterdam, and Jaime Munar has indeed got the second set done, so there will be a third set against Casper Ruud. You did hear me right. Indoor hard court Casper Ruud against Jaime Munar.
I don't think he can beat Paul or Shapovalov though. But even Jaume Munar making a hard court final and an ATP 500 as well. Like that's
I did say to John, can you imagine if Munar embarrasses us all and beats Paul and Ruud to win a 500 indoor hard court? Like that's surely a huge.
Beating Ruud sounds very realistic. Obviously, it's easy to say this now that he's won the second set, but like I think I was saying yesterday too. Obviously, they went 5 in Australia, and Casper just in general is looking quite shaky. It's not his favorite conditions either. Just Paul or Shapovalov, I don't know how he gets through that one. But yeah, if he beats Tommy Paul, I'm gonna be surprised. Yeah.
I think if Paul can get through Shapovalov, I think either if it's Ruud or Munar, I think Paul should be confident that he's got another Dallas title in the bag.
Yeah, sounds realistic. Indeed, another. Yeah, he won the last edition.
500. Second 500.
For Tommy, yeah, Queen's Club last year. Yeah,
Queen's, yeah. So.
Oh yeah, he won the 500 there. Yeah,
he did.
Both Paul and Ruud won their first 500s last year.
Yeah, brewed in Barcelona, wasn't it? Beating Tsitsipas.
Yep. Chapo doesn't have one yet.
Neither does Munar.
Neither does Munar, definitely.
Does Munar have an ATP title?
One final in Marbella, 2021.
Just a dictionary, aren't you, Damien?
That was just a one-time event. No, it was pretty related to a challenger story because just a week earlier there was a challenger in Marbella.
Development.
Yeah, and he beat Gianluca Mager in the final there, and after that he loses to Carreño Busta in the final. So yeah.
So just seeing Alcaraz giving an interview right now. But yeah, okay, cool. Thanks for joining, everyone. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Give Fergus and Damien follows on social media. Damien's at Damien Kust. Fergus, actually, I don't even know if I've got yours saved. I probably do, but you can tell us what it is.
_Gav, I believe.
Fergus_Gav. Yeah, I don't even know if I've got you saved. I should have done, bearing in mind you've been coming on for a few weeks now. Oh, there you are. Actually, you're right near the top. There you go. And yeah, and obviously give us a follow on all the socials at Talking Tennis TT on both Twitter and Instagram. And for the rest of you, you know the drill.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.